Designers and automobile enthusiasts have all converged this evening to celebrate excellence in the auto industry. This is an evening dedicated to honoring the ideas, craftsmanship, and the relentless passion that drive the automotive world forward. Today, we're not just talking about cars, we're talking about the future of transportation as well. We are here to witness game-changing advancements, explore new trends, and be inspired by some of the brightest minds in the industry. So buckle up, because we're all set for a great evening. Whether it is your first car, your family car, your dream vehicle, or the silent, eco-friendly EV, automobiles are more than machines. They're memories on wheels. We've seen remarkable breakthroughs in electrification, safety measures, and designs that continue to set global benchmarks. And behind every one of those achievements are teams of people who work tirelessly, innovating, testing, refining, and improving. So to everyone who contributes to the auto industry, the Zee Media Auto Summit is a celebration of your commitment, your imagination, and your excellence.
Wheels of the automotive industry are turning faster than ever. From electric to autonomous, from design to disruption, the future of mobility is already here. Presenting Zee Media Auto Summit 2025, a one-of-a-kind summit that brings together the brightest minds, innovators, and industry leaders shaping the future of India's automotive landscape. As the auto sector undergoes a transformative shift driven by technology, safety, and sustainability, we celebrate the excellence and the vision that powers this evolution. Get ready for breakthrough ideas, bold conversations, and the roadmap for India's mobility revolution. Today, we have stellar panels such as Drive Like a Woman, India's luxury car boom, Safe Roads, Safe India, and recognitions in the categories Luxury EV Brand of the Year, Sustainable Mobility Champion of the Year, Scooter of the Year, Best 350cc Motorcycle, Design of the Year, Iconic Car of the Year, Innovation in Mobility, Electric Car of the Year, Bike of the Year, Disruptive EV of the Year, SUV of the Year, Manufacturer of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Zee Media Auto Summit 2025, driving the future.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as we told you, we've got a wonderful lineup today. Let's get started with our first session. There is so much that is said about women who drive. With every gear shifted, a stereotype is broken. In our first very special session, we got together India's most popular women creators at the Zee Media Auto Summit to share their honest insights and experiences of automobile features, the biases that they face on the road, and why brands are now rethinking design and communication to better engage with women. Take a look.
India's leading women creators on one powerful platform, sharing their experiences behind the wheel. From design to the features that truly matter, discover how the industry is rethinking engineering to connect with women drivers. Rising powerhouse in India's automotive consumption story. They are driving change, driving confidence. Let's welcome trailblazing women auto influencers for the session. Drive Like a Woman.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be an interesting session. Joining in to talk about this are, and I request them to please come up on stage, Ms. Supriya Nagpal, one of those trailblazers who's broken stereotypes. Give them a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Ms. Brinda Sharma, is also one of those who's broken stereotypes. Well, the applause shouldn't stop, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a stellar panel this evening to talk about their experiences. Ms. Mia Lakra joins us as well, as does Ms. Tarni Mukherjee. Give them a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. All right, and with that, last but not the least, Ms. Nupur Kalra joins us this evening to talk about her experiences as well. I request Jayan Rastogi to take this conversation forward. Welcome, ladies, and we're looking forward to this absolutely stellar and stupendous conversation that is going to take place. Jayan, the stage is all yours.
Good evening, everyone. So आज का सेशन सिर्फ गाड़ियों पर नहीं है, ड्राइविंग माइंडसेट पर भी है. आज मेरे साथ हैं 5 विमेन क्रिएटर्स, फिटनेस मॉम, बाइकर मॉम, ट्रैवलर, आर्किटेक्ट, स्टाइलिस्ट. पर एक चीज कॉमन है, ये सभी 5 जो विमेन क्रिएटर्स हैं, इन्होंने इंश्योर किया है कि जो ड्राइविंग व्हील है, जो स्टीयरिंग है, वो इन सभी के हाथ में हो. तो जोरदार तालियां हो जाए पहले. हमने सबने एक बात देखी है कि जब लड़के ड्राइव करते हैं तो वो क्या क्या फेस करते हैं. लेट्स से कि वो ट्रैफिक फेस करते हैं, वो बड़े बड़े हाईवेज फेस करते हैं, छोटी छोटी गलियां फेस करती हैं. पर जब लड़कियां ड्राइव करती हैं तो वो इसके साथ एक बायस भी फेस करती हैं. शुरुआत करेंगे वृंदा आपसे. ऐसा कोई बायस जो आपके साथ रह गया है और या फिर आप अभी तक फाइट करते हो, उससे कोई आपका कोई एक्सपीरियंस उस बारे में?
Unfortunately, the bias just remains. We are in 2025 and it is still there that ladki chala rahi hai. So I'll share an incident with you. I've obviously had multiple, but there was this one time my car, so I used to drive a Thar, and my car was parked behind or in front of somebody else's car, and मेरे को निकालने के लिए जो पीछे वाली गाड़ी थी उस बंदे को निकालनी पड़नी थी. So I was at my friend's hotel in Manali, and I told him, just remove your car or give me the keys, I'll remove the car and then get my car out. तो मेरे को बोलता कि manual है. I was so tired that time. I was like, you know what, it does not deserve my attention. And then my friend only said कि भाई वो थार चलाती है, मेरी भी manually थी. So there's unnecessary just stereotype and unnecessary conversations and comments and stuff that I face on an everyday basis. But I mean, it's fine.
So सुप्रिया, 2025 में हम हैं. ये जो बायसेस हैं, ये थोड़े से इम्प्रूव हुए हैं या अभी भी फर्स्ट गियर में ही चल रहे हैं?
Improved a bit, but we still have a long way to go. अभी भी अगर कोई गाड़ी रोड पे गलत टर्न लेती है तो सबसे पहले लोगों के दिमाग में आता है पक्का कोई लड़की चला रही होगी. So I think we still have a long way to go that people should start respecting women drivers as much they are respecting the men driver.
मिया, आपसे एक सवाल है कि ये तो गाड़ी चलाते हुए बात हो गई, जब कंटेंट बनाते हैं तो भी क्या इस तरीके के स्टीरियोटाइप्स देखने को मिलते हैं, आपको सुनने को मिलते हैं, जहां पर आप ड्राइव भी नहीं कर रहे हो, सिर्फ कंटेंट बना रहे हो?
I think as a man, you have that space to make mistakes. As a woman, you don't have that space.
I love you for saying that.
Yeah, there's so
पर
much.
तारिणी, आपका क्या कमबैक होता है जब आपको इस तरीके का कुछ फेस करना पड़े? तब आपका क्या कमबैक होता है?
मैं साइलेंटली अपनी गाड़ी पैरेलल पार्क कर लेती हूँ और उनकी शक्ल देख रही होती हूँ.
Wow.
My EV charges faster than men's mindset when it comes to cars.
पर नुपुर, इस तरीके के जो स्टीरियोटाइप्स हैं उसको हैंडल करने का सबसे अच्छा तरीका क्या है? क्या वापस देना चाहिए उनको पलटकर या फिर इग्नोर करना चाहिए?
I think the best way is to ignore them and do whatever you are doing it, because we are not here to prove any point to anyone. We are at a stage where we are enjoying this, where we are enjoying this empowerment of being on the road and walking side by side. So I think there's no point of saying anything. Just keep on driving the way you are doing it, things, and move on.
No, here I would like to add on something. At times, it's better to expressive and answer them back, because the more quieter you are, and then you're just gonna ignore it. You can ignore once, twice, but not every time. It's just been a couple of months, I would say. I was normally driving on the road. Out of nowhere, a family man, I would say, with a wife and a kid, bina sar pe ki, he just overtook me, parked the car aside, and he was like, "Hey, you." And I was like, "Pata nahi kya ho gaya?" And I was like, yes, sir. I was talking very politely with, "Yes, sir." And he started abusing right, left, front, back. And I was like, kahan se frustrated mein, sir, bola. And I was like, dude, now I need to give you back in your own way. I started abusing back, and then I was like, hua kya tha? And then I realized he was not able to drive properly. He just thought maybe I am doing right and left. Okay, it was his mistake. So at times it is important to answer them back. Sir never gave me any respect unless I gave him back.
But Mia, we are staying in Delhi NCR. You know the kind of people we are dealing with day in, day out. I have a daughter at home. I have my husband at home. They are waiting for me. I don't want to get into any unnecessary conversation which can lead to any kind of. They have gun, man. They have in Haryana. They have gun in their car.
Not
We
all
can't
five
just
fingers
be
are
with
same.
cars, yes.
Yeah.
It's men,
It's
women,
men,
Yeah,
women
but not all
everywhere,
five
so-
fingers are same. You're supposed to see who is like in front of you, how the person is behaving in that way. Like वो गांधीगिरी का ज़माना का जहाँ पर एक थप्पड़ मारे तो हाँ भाई मार दो. No,
And
please.
I think I've learned that you can't.
बट
You
वृंदा,
can't
क्या
teach them.
ये सिर्फ यहाँ पर जो दिल्ली एनसीआर का माहौल ऐसा सा है या फिर हाईवेज पर भी ये चीजें देखने को मिलती हैं?
Highways, my goodness, मैंने गलती से अगर मेरे को, so when I used to drive a Thar पे तो already एक तो दिल्ली का नंबर, Thar और लड़की चला रही है. I think everyone who would see me on the road would go crazy for God knows what reason. मेरे को इतनी बारी हुआ है where men have started following me despite me having a male person in the car with me. फॉलो करते हैं, फिर फालतू में कट करते हैं, फिर आगे जाके रुक जाते हैं, करते रहते हैं. एंड हाईवेज पे तो क्या, इवन इन लाइक स्मॉलर टाउन्स इफ यू गो, लाइक आई फेस्ड रैंडम स्टूपिड सेक्सिज्म इन द माउंटेन्स इन मनाली. कि एक बारी मैं एक बहुत ही पतली सी गली से अपनी थार निकाल रही थी. ऑब्वियसली निकल गई, मुझे पता है मेरा क्या, लाइक ऑब्वियसली आई नो व्हेन माय कार इज गोइंग टू हिट. या एग्जैक्ट, आई हैव द सेंस. So एक अंकल आगे से आ रहे थे, did not ask him for help, okay? He said आ जाओ. Then he saw me, he said अच्छा बिटिया चला रही है. अब मैं क्या बोलूँ अंकल को, मतलब I'm like ठीक है अंकल, thank you very much.
पर क्या ये सुप्रिया, क्या ये साइलेंस हेल्प कर रहा है विमेन को इस तरीके के बायसेस को अगर तोड़ना है?
See, honestly, like Nupur said, I'm also on the same in the same belief that I choose to stay silent because I am in no competition, or I don't want to prove any point to anybody, especially at least on the roads. I just want to reach home safe. The other person might want to reach first. That's not my priority. My priority is to reach safe because I have a family, I have a kid waiting at home. So मुझे किसी से कोई competition नहीं है. And honestly, after you know, I'm almost 40. इतने सालों से मैं ड्राइव कर रही हूँ, तो अब मुझे I think I've developed a thick skin. मुझे फर्क नहीं पड़ता honestly कि कोई क्या सोच रहा है. I am just thinking about myself and my family. I want to reach home safe. That's about.
This is sounding so sad.
I know.
That
हम तो ऑफ रोडिंग करते हैं अपनी थारिनी में. हम तो सेफ्टी की सोचते नहीं है. सेफ्टी हमारी गाड़ी हमारे लिए सोचती है.
बट ये बात है कि यहाँ पर जितने भी लोग मौजूद हैं वो कम से कम इस बात को, आज 2025 में हम बैठे हुए हैं, वी आर एंटरिंग 2026 इन फ्यू डेज. अगर आज भी ये सब फेस करना पड़ता है तो आई थिंक ये सबकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है.
It's true. Trust me, it's true. We face it every day on the roads.
एब्सोल्युटली. तो चलिए अब थोड़ा सा आगे बढ़ते हैं. एक टाइम था जब विमेन, जब कार्स के बारे में बात होती थी या टेक के बारे में भी बात होती थी, एक रनिंग जोक हुआ करता था. और वो रनिंग जोक था कि जो आदमी लोग हैं वो फीचर्स के बारे में बात करते हैं, और जब विमेन से पूछा जाता है तो वो कहते हैं मुझे तो पिंक वाली चाहिए. ये एक रनिंग जोक था.
ये मेरे साथ अभी रिसेंटली हुआ है.
अच्छा, मुझे लगा 2025 में इसको गार्बेज बिन में डाल देना चाहिए.
Sorry to cut you in between, but I have to tell you this. So, listen to this. I had gone to एक बहुत reputed automobile brand. I've gone to pick up a car for myself with my own money, जिसकी EMI भी मैंने pay करनी है. सब I have to do it. I have to do everything. Take the name. Let's not go there. And then the salesperson there is showing me the car and everything. Then I asked कि इसके आप features मुझे explain कर सकते हैं. Then suddenly he started explaining features to my husband. And I'm like, excuse me, what do you think that I am not interested in features and I am the one who's here to buy a car. I want to know the features. I asked the questions. Why are you explaining it to him? That's when I actually spoke and took his class. It's like, what do you think? That I'm here to choose the color? That's it. I want to know the features and that's why I asked the question. So it happens till date in 2025 as well.
पर अगर मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूँ, अगर मैं आपसे ही पूछना चाहूँ कि आपको किस तरीके की कार आज के टाइम में ज़्यादा पसंद है? कुछ स्टनिंग लुक्स या लोडेड फीचर्स? आई नो कि आपके पास दोनों ही कार्स हैं.
So honestly, stunning looks impress you once, but you need to impress me every day. So loaded features.
Loaded features.
Yeah.
मिया, आपसे पूछना चाहता हूँ because you are into fashion creator और fashion अगर आप देखते हो, so आपके लिए looks ज़्यादा मैटर करती हैं कार्स में या practicality ज़्यादा मैटर करती है कार्स में?
Practicality, of course, because for me, क्या looks I can change if I want. I have the money and whatever I want in terms of season, color, whatever. But features and practicality की भाई मुझे easy होना चाहिए how to navigate myself in the car या फिर उसकी facility या फिर whatever it is. अब fashion या फिर color को लेके मैं थोड़ा बोलूँगी भाई right ले ले left ले temperature किसी plus minus या high tech savage car while driving. My focus should be just while driving and not कि कहाँ से मुझे phone pick करना है, कहाँ से volume ऊपर नीचे करनी है, how to shift my gears or something like that. But tough नहीं होना चाहिए. It should be like comfort, everything. I need everything in my car.
ये आप सवाल हमसे क्यों पूछ रहे हो?
मैं आपसे ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि what women want in the automobile sector. इसीलिए मुझे आपसे
We want
पूछना है.
everything.
पर नहीं, पर मैं फिर भी ये जानना इसलिए चाहता हूँ
What
कि
makes you think that we would want anything different?
so because
What did you imagine?
Chayan,
We will
your
want to drive
question.
in the heel in our car?
Yeah, Raj, you're back actually.
We are not trying to match our cars with our nail paints. Please.
so I just want to know कि यहाँ पर बहुत सारे लोग यहाँ पर बैठे हुए हैं. They can take note कि आप लोगों को ऐसे कौन-कौन से और फीचर्स हैं जो आपको ज़्यादा इम्प्रेस करते हैं so that वो उस चीज़ के ऊपर ज़्यादा फोकस कर सकें. So बृंदा, आपसे सवाल ये है कि टेक जो है वो बहुत कार्स में बढ़ गया है. Do you think how much tech is, I mean, is more tech for you? मतलब क्या टेक इतना ज़्यादा आपके लिए?
Too much tech.
How much tech is too much tech for you?
I think no amount of tech can be ever too much. I think if as long as it's making everyone's lives easier, I think that's good. मेरे लिए तो गाड़ी में 4x4 होना चाहिए. बाकी I think
As long as it's not confusing us, helping us, it's good.
Too much, I think
Yeah,
sometimes
it
too
shouldn't
much
be a
is
distraction.
distracting.
Tech should be something which is an ease and a feasible thing and not a distraction.
Where we don't
Gadgets
have
ही
to take
ढूंढते
the
रह
master
जाओ.
classes to learn what all tech is there actually. It should be easy to handle and manage.
But Nupur, is there anything which is non-negotiable for you right now जब आप अब कार्स खरीदने के लिए जाते हो? सबसे ज़्यादा फोकस किस चीज़ पर है?
I think all the interiors, including safety. So I would like to have a car or drive a car or maybe ride a bike which has safety features. So, for example, the airbags. So if we met it with an accident, what happens going to be the next thing? So I think safety is the utmost important feature for me.
And Supriya, for you, क्या किस तरीके से जो बाइंग, अगर मैं बाइंग की बात करूं एज अ मॉम, क्या वो चीज़ें भी बदली हैं? क्या सेफ्टी, अब लोग क्या सेफ्टी की तरफ ज़्यादा देखने लगे हैं जब कार्स खरीदने जाते हैं?
I think, yeah, of course, safety comes first. It's not, it's either men or women. I think safety is for everyone and everybody looks for safety. That's like the first priority when you go to buy a car.
Okay.
I mean, 6 airbags should not be optional.
Yes.
एब्सोल्युटली एब्सोल्युटली सो फाइनल क्वेश्चन आप सभी लोगों से कि आज के ऑटो ब्रांड्स को विमेन क्रिएटर्स से अगर एक एडवाइस लेनी हो तो वो एडवाइस क्या होगी, वो फ्री की एडवाइस क्या होगी?
आउटफिट अप्रूवल मत लो बस.
हाँ,
आउटफिट अप्रूवल मत लो बस. It's the most, I think, awkward conversation to have with any brand, especially when you're shooting a car. तो मतलब outfit क्यों मांग रहे हो?
बट यस मतलब आई गेट इट कि जो ब्रांड्स भी जो आपको अप्रोच करते होंगे उनके भी कुछ अलग डिमांड्स होंगी, बट स्टिल अगर ऑटो सेक्टर में कुछ और चीज़ अगर आपको लगे, आपने इतनी सारी कार्स ड्राइव करी हैं, कि आपको लगता है कि जैसे उन्होंने कहा कि अब 6 एयर बैग्स जो होने चाहिए वो बेसिक होने चाहिए, क्या कुछ और भी चीज़ें हैं जो आपको लगता है कि वो सभी कार्स में होनी चाहिए? या एक एक करके.
For me, it's a navigation route has to be easy because I'm somebody totally though born and brought up here, but I'm very bad with routes and all. So I would like कि ये तो ऐसा होना चाहिए कि बहुत easy breezy navigation जहाँ पे चाहे सड़क खराब हो, blocked हो, we should know in well advance because at nights when we girls, females drive, at least वो तो मेरा major concern होता है. Plus 360 degree जो अपना parking sensors होते हैं, तो वो that is really quite important. Camera and as everyone agreed, safety. There shouldn't be any compromise with that.
आपके लिए कुछ?
I think I had the same thing to say. So yeah, GPS that actually works, and
Open
good
your
cameras,
GPS.
good lighting, because when you are driving in night, so good lighting is also important. And yeah, that's for safety. But I truly believe that every car should have a good storage space as well, because as a mom, when you go out for trips. Moms literally pack the entire house in their cars. So good storage space is also very important.
What about EVs? EVs में जो जिस तरीके से जितनी नई चीज़ें आई हैं, क्या आपको लगता है वहाँ पर भी किसी चीज़ की ज़रूरत है, कुछ और उसमें एडवांसमेंट्स की?
Look, I think the infrastructure behind EV is the main concern. Parking is one and EV ground clearance is the second one. But the most important is that EV fast charging in India today, being an architect, we are not allowed to have that in the basement. So our infrastructure needs to overrun the EV cars that are coming on the road.
नूपुर आपके लिए
I
कुछ?
think I have very, very similar thoughts because somebody asked me whether you would like to drive a petrol car or you want to drive an EV car. I'm like, obviously, since EV is the future of India, we have to go on EVs, and due to so much of pollution outside, we know that EV is the future. But we need to have that infrastructure to drive an EV. If I'm taking an EV to maybe Manali or any hill station and we don't have adequate EV station, charging station, there's no point. We just have a range of 400, 450 kilometers on an EV car is not sufficient to drive on long drives. So first, the infrastructure has to be there, installed properly. Then we can, it's an amazing upgradation.
But I think we're slowly getting there.
We're slowly
Yes,
getting
slowly
यार
getting
एक और
there.
आइटम है, GPS navigation का accent बदल दो.
ओह
मैं तो तंग आ गई हूँ. अलग ही लेवल है बॉस.
बिल्कुल. सो आई होप ऑल ऑटो सेक्टर पीपल आर टेकिंग नोट्स, क्योंकि इससे मतलब इतना फ्री का ज्ञान जो है यहाँ पर, वो जो बहुत सारे इतने सारे सर्वेस कराए जाते हैं और उसके बाद भी बहुत सारी चीजें नहीं निकलती, वो यहाँ से पिक किया जा सकता है.
One more thing I would like to add. I recently was shooting for this EV car. I won't mention. Charging took almost for 1 or 2 hours. मेरी lighting चली गई and I had to reschedule the shoot. तो थोड़े fast charger वाले भी कुछ ऐसे बनाओ EVs के लिए. I had to reschedule my shoot because of the charge. खत्म हो गया था charging. गाड़ी चलाई नहीं.
So a lot of feedback. Thank you so much, ladies, for this lovely chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chayan. And first of all, I also would like to thanks to Zee Media for giving us this opportunity platform, because it's really rare कि Auto Summit करें, awards करें, and then they create a special women panel for us. So thank you, Chayan. Thank you so much, Zee Media and the entire team. And to my fellow mates, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ladies, for such a nice conversation. And my favorite line of the session has been, my EV charges faster than the mindset of the men. And, you know, I'm part of the organizing team, but I assure you I loved it when you gave it back to Chayan on his questions. So big hugs to all of you. Thank you very much. I now request Mr. Manish Seth, Chief Revenue Officer, Zee Media Corporation Limited, and Mr. Dinesh Garg, Chief Financial Officer, Zee Media Corporation Limited, to please felicitate our women drivers. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. They've been candid, they've been honest, and they have been very, very, making some very significant suggestions as well as expressing their concerns as well. It's been a fascinating conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, the applause should not stop. Come on. Ladies, you've been great with all your inputs, your suggestions, and of course, that one bit where you said, Supriya, the car features were explained to my husband when I was the one asking. One of the many experiences that we all face, also when we're eating at a restaurant, and the bill is first given to the man, if you're with a man. So, I mean, of course, who would mind them paying? But I would still want the bill to be, paid by me. But I request all of you to come in the center, please, so we can have a quick photograph as well. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. All right, a quick photograph. Thank you, ladies. And thank you to the gentlemen as well. We're not forgetting the gentlemen. All right, it has been, of course, a great conversation. And, as I said in the beginning, we've got a wonderful lineup for all of you today. It's been a great conversation as far as, women sharing their experiences is concerned. One of the things that, our women achievers said was the fact that as women, you're not allowed the space to make a mistake. And I assure you, it's not just in the case of women drivers and women riders. It's in a lot of sectors where women have to deal with that stereotype, with that conditioning, and we try and overcome that every day. But, as far as our next session is concerned, remember, it's going to be a fascinating conversation there as well. And we will move on to it. It's going to be something that we all have seen, we have all talked about, and it's now booming in this country. Let's move on to our next session. India's luxury car market, ladies and gentlemen, has been accelerating, driven by rising incomes and aspirational young buyers. Luxury brands are witnessing record annual sales and long waiting lists. We've all seen that, haven't we? And the demand is spreading beyond metro cities now, with tier 2 cities emerging as the surprise growth engines. Our next conversation, ladies and gentlemen, is with one such industry leader who has seen record sales, evolving lifestyles, and India shifting from dreaming of luxury to driving luxury.
India's luxury car boom is here. Powered by urbanization and rising incomes. How India owns luxury is being redefined through flexible financial models and a new generation of aspirational buyers. This session unpacks what's fueling the shift. Fasten your seatbelts as we decode India's luxury car boom.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now it is my pleasure to invite Mr. Hardeep Singh Brar, President and CEO, BMW Group India, onto the stage. Remember, Mr. Brar has over 30 years of experience in India's automotive industry, having held senior leadership roles spanning corporate strategy, network development, sales, marketing, as well as customer experience. Welcome, Mr. Brar. An honor to have you with us this evening. I request my colleague Miraj Shah to take this conversation forward. Miraj, the stage is yours. Looking forward to this exciting conversation.
Thank you, Shreya. Hardeep, I'm really chuffed to be speaking with you today. I cover technology and motoring at WION, and they don't often see eye to eye. While I'm curious and fascinated by technology and all that it's doing for our lives, whether it's the future of mobility or the future of travel. I'm very passionate about motoring, and frankly, sometimes it terrifies me what it's doing to sheer driving pleasure or what potential it has to sort of change that. Now, to my mind, BMW has always been one of those brands that has managed to marry technology, performance, and luxury in a way that nobody else has managed to do quite as well. So in that context, I wanted to ask you, what defines luxury for BMW in 2025, and how do you see this, this luxury auto landscape evolving?
Check, yeah. Thank you, Miraj, for having me here. So coming to your last question first, how the luxury, so your question was how's the luxury evolving, right?
What defines luxury for BMW? Is it bigger screens? Is it more tech? Is it Napa leather? How do you...
Okay. So for me, or for BMW, the luxury is defined by, how it can make life easier and better for a consumer, right? So I think in the previous session, the women here were talking about, they want it to be simple. They don't want it to be very difficult. They want to navigate it easily. We want to make things simpler for the consumer. And of course, as you talked about, the quality of leather that we are using, the quality of material that we are using in the car. But very importantly, from a luxury perspective, as our DNA is sheer driving pleasure, we want to make, because ultimately you're driving the car for yourself. We want the car to give you a driving pleasure when you're driving the car. So as you know, the Indian roads are sometimes can get very tricky. So even when you're navigating the roads, right, and you are able to enjoy the drive despite of how the roads are. You want power at a click of the button, you're accelerating your machine and it gives you the power that you want, or maybe it exceeds your expectations. So all put together, this is what for BMW luxury is.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what I was referring to when I was talking about balance. So we drove the long wheelbase 5 Series recently. I've been driving various iterations of the 5 Series for many years, and I think this was the first time, correct me if I'm wrong, that the long wheelbase is the only version that's available in India. And I was wondering if that is a statement about what luxury car buyers in India want. Is BMW shifting sort of focus from the driver's seat to the rear seat?
So frankly, in India, we have to do that because Indian consumers, there are both kind of consumers. There are consumers who use the rear seat very regularly, right? On daily travel, they use it. But on the weekend, there are consumers who want to drive, right? They say, okay, bhaiya driver ko gaadi de di. And some consumer also say, I'm spending so much of money, not for my driver to enjoy the car. I also want to enjoy the car. And some people keep them for themselves and they drive it over the weekend while they may have some other car during the weekdays. But there are consumers who use it during the weekdays as well. So I think India and China are very unique in that perspective because we have access to drivers. So they want a longer wheelbase. And as you rightly said, we have 5 Series. We have now the iX1 in long wheelbase. We have a 3 Series in a long wheelbase. And of course, our 7 Series always had a very long wheelbase. So people are really enjoying the rear seat. I think this was a consumer feedback for us that yours is a driver's car, but how do we enjoy the rear seat? So over the last few years, we have made these changes, and this is one of them that the rear space has really gone up, and we have now brought in controls on the rear seat so that whether you're driving or you're at the back seat, you can enjoy at both the places.
Yeah, interesting. You should mention China. How are the markets different? I mean, a lot of people I speak to say there's the design of the new 5 Series it has bolder lines, sleeker lines. It's more sort of what apparently Chinese consumers prefer. Is there any truth to that? And because the older 5 Series was actually quite svelte looking, very different design language entirely.
I would say it's very similar in a way how people are using it. But in terms of acceptance, I think China is more than 5% of the market is, or maybe 10%, I would say, are the consumers who are buying luxury. But India is only 1%. But we also know for the fact that the Chinese economy is much bigger than India, but India is catching up really, really fast. So the fresh set of consumers, for example, when we look at, where do customer first enter the luxury? From the bottom, right? So somebody who's driving a 15, 20, 25 lakh rupees car, now, and luxury somewhere starts at around 40 to 50 lakhs. So the first time when he moves in, he gets into this category. And we see a lot of consumers, almost, I would say 80% of the consumer moving from the mass market to luxury. So it's growing very fast. Of course, we are far away from China, but I also see that as an opportunity, right? When you are only 1%, there's a potential to grow to 5 to 10% as well. And when we start giving all the features in the entry-level car, and very importantly, one change which I've seen when we brought the iX1 in the electric version, there are a lot of consumers where there's a perception that, luxury is difficult to maintain. And there are some perceptions around the fuel efficiency. When you have an electric vehicle at the entry level, there is no concerns about maintenance because BEVs don't require any maintenance. Fuel mileage is as good as anything anybody else is providing. But the advantage here is the cars in luxury entry level, they provide you a range of north of 500 kilometers, which is not the case in mass market. So the graduation is happening very, very fast. And I would say, and also, people have become aspirational. I think in my generation, people were talking about savings and investments, but the next generation is not talking about that.
They're talking
right?
about EMIs.
Yeah, they're talking about, you only live once. They have big aspirations. Yeah. And I think somewhere COVID has actually, speeding up this whole process. So we see a lot of consumers getting into that.
You're saying YOLO has become sort of much more predominant.
Yeah.
But, excuse me, interesting you should mention the demographic. I remember, correct me again if I'm wrong, there was this ad many years back in which, was it a 5 Series ad which said best enjoyed young or something on those lines. And I remember watching it and I'm like, who are they talking about? And what am I doing with my life? Because I'm buying a 5 Series. Who buys a 5 Series young? But I think, at least now I see evidence of that. I see a lot of very, very young owners, whether they're, crypto dealers or whether they are startup founders. How has that change in demographic changed the way that you approach selling these cars?
So I feel the consumer set, the age bracket is really coming down. So as you said, there are a lot of startups, there are a lot of young founders and young businessmen, right? And as I said earlier, the mindset was, let me save and become more successful and then I look at it. But I think this is a fresh thought process which has gotten, and these young startups, young founders and young businessmen, they want to embrace it much faster. I know there's a guy who lives in my condo, just about 30 years plus, just bought a 6 GT about 6-7 months back, and he's looking at more. We are launching the mini convertible shortly, and suddenly we see the number of consumers who have booked this car, very, very young. A lot of customers between 25 to 30 years. So it's only increasing with time, and which augurs very well for the luxury car market in times to come.
Well, but since you're talking about mini, it's a statement, right? It's a personality car. And I would think that Indians do like to sort of make a statement, and we are flashy, at least in North India we are. But it's still a very niche product. Is that correct? I mean, is it going to ever sort of transcend that? Or will it always be a niche product, in India at least?
See, being niche is also something which is positive, right? People who want to be exclusive, if moment it becomes mass, then it loses exclusivity and charm as well. So the fact that only 1% of the consumers are able to upgrade to the luxury bracket also makes it more aspirational. Moment you have 15, 20%, then it loses its charm as well. So of course we don't want it to be 1%. We don't want it to be as exclusive as that. We would like it to grow. But coming to your point, yes, it is exclusive, which is why it is very, very aspirational as well.
Okay, I won't question you further on that. So you were at Kia for the longest time, which is about delivering value, I think value for money, so to speak. And now you're at BMW, which is pretty much about luxury and performance and not cutting any corners. So I mean, I can say quite, I have no qualms in admitting that I've always loved BMWs, but I drive a Kia, so I understand the dichotomy. But for you, I'm interested in knowing, like, so what was the hardest sort of bit about that strategic pivot for you to come from selling value to selling luxury, so to speak?
I think the biggest difference is the experience. You know, when you go to the mass or mass premium market, people are very much concerned about the product and the pricing, how much discounts you're getting. Here also, people are concerned about that, not that, you know, they completely ignore it, but they look at the experience, right? How's the ambience of the showroom? What is the kind of people you are interacting with? And very importantly, they want to see what after I buy the car, what are you going to do for me? And which is why we have this very strong, we call it a BMW Excellence Club, where we invite customers for different kind of events. You have wine and cheese events. There are exclusive events for women, for men. You know, there are fashion shows. There are music soirees, and we do a lot of vintage rallies as well. So for them, it is very, very important. They want to engage at every step in their life cycle, which is where, you know, coming to your last question, if there are too many people, you will not be able to give. I can never think of having a club like this in a mass market car manufacturer. But in luxury, I can think of that because the numbers are small, and hence you can give this experience to them, and which is what this customer really appreciates, which is not there in the mass market.
So are you implying that we are becoming like a mature luxury market from, I mean, we were certainly considered an emerging luxury market till a few years back?
I wouldn't really say that it has become that, because when you say it is just 1%, it is still evolving, but it is evolving at a very, very rapid speed. To give you an example, while again, these numbers may not do justice, in the first 9 months of this year, pre-GST, the mass market was growing at, the overall market was growing at 2 to 3%, whereas luxury is growing at 10 to 11%. Right. All right, and this is a very small example which I'm trying to give. The gap is increasing every year, and while it may take time to reach 5%, but the growth levels are far better in luxury versus the mass market.
Okay, so I have maybe time for one more question, and I think it has to be about EVs, because all said and done, people are not buying expensive EVs unless they are BMWs. What is it that you guys are doing? How do you have 21% of your sales as EVs? I don't understand it.
Let me first give you a little more statistics before I come to this 21%. We have electric only in 2 categories. One is in the 7 series, and which is at the top, and one at the bottom. We had few EVs in the middle, but we'll bring them again next year. For the time being, they are not there because we are already sold out. Even in 7 series, the percentage is almost close to 50% electric. In the entry also, it is 50%. So why it makes 21%? Because in a lot of other categories, we don't have electric. And what makes them very, very popular with the consumers is the kind of features which we are providing in these cars. For example, in our i7, which is the top-end electric, you have this whole huge screen at the top, which you will not find in any other car, right? Sure. You have all the controls at the back seat, where they're all controlled by electronics, the touch screens. You have all the blinds, and not only on the sides, but the sun blinds even at the back. So it's a fully loaded car. You have a seat recline at the rear seat, and so on and so forth. The amount of features which we are providing, even at the entry level, iX1, I think if you look at the mass market, the price parity between electric and the ICE models is the electrics are almost 20% more expensive, right? We have tried to keep electrics and the ICE almost at par, and that also works in our favor, because then consumer thinks, BEV with no maintenance, no running cost, overall cost of ownership becomes very well. So a combination of good cost of ownership and the features that we provide in our electric cars is really working well for us.
Thank you, Deep. So I've been asked to wrap it up. So I'm going to go, but very, very quickly, in 1 minute, rapid fire questions. I don't want you to think. Sunday morning drive, do you want an M4 or do you want an i7?
Any day M4.
Okay. What is overrated, massage seats or gesture control?
I would say gesture control.
If you could bring back one BMW from the past and produce it again, which one would it be, and what would you do different?
You know, there's a lot of demand for convertibles. We had Z4, and we are getting the M440i, and we are also launching the mini convertible very soon. So anything with the rooftop or the convertibles is what people are really looking for.
All about the wind in the hair feeling, hopefully with a nice engine. Huh? Okay.
Of course.
That's my prejudice coming in. Okay, I believe the minister is coming. Thank you very much, Hardeep.
Thank you.
Lovely talking to you.
Thanks so
and
much.
we shall continue this offline.
Thank you.
A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a fascinating conversation. Mr. Brar, I request you to be on stage. Please, sir. I request Mr. Rabin Sharma, Managing Editor, WION, to please felicitate our guests. Thank you very much for this fascinating conversation. Of course, one of the key takeaways was the fact that there's focus on simplifying it for the consumer. And very interestingly, how mini convertible is something that is going to be launched shortly. And I love the fact that the age group is 25 to 30 years. That's extremely interesting and a trend that we must follow as far as India is concerned. The youngsters making sure that they have their own share of luxury as well. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a good conversation with Mr. Brar, a very informative one as well. All right, moving on, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be having a very special leader among us today in a short while from now. Of course, he's someone who has transformed the way India moves, and we will have him shortly among us to make sure that he presents the government's point of view as well, as far as not just electric vehicles is concerned, but other significant concerns, significant insights that we want from him as somebody who leads the nation in making sure that we've got smoother travel, smoother transition, smoother infrastructure, and that reduction in travel time that we all feel. If you still haven't guessed, it is, of course, Mr. Nitin Gadkari who will be with us in a short while from now. And as we expect him, let me tell you that Mr. Gadkari will be speaking with my colleague Shobna as well in a short while from now. And we all can look forward to that conversation as he speaks about the future of mobility with all of you. And as I said, presenting the government's point of view on a plethora of issues, whether it's EVs, something that was talked about from the session. The first session was the fact that we don't have charging infrastructure enough. We'll ask Mr. Gadkari on that. You can ask Mr. Gadkari on that. And of course, a number of other questions that will be answered by the minister. But this is going to be, a fascinating conversation as far as transportation is concerned, as far as India being connected is concerned. Remember, some of the remotest villages of our country have been connected through the kind of infrastructure that has been made under the leadership of Mr. Nitin Gadkari. Now, let's quickly take a look at this video.
Wheels of the automotive industry are turning faster than ever. Electric to autonomous. From design to disruption. The future of mobility is already here. Presenting Zee Media Auto Summit 2025. A one-of-a-kind summit that brings together the brightest minds, innovators and industry leaders shaping the future of India's automotive landscape. As the auto sector undergoes a transformative shift driven by technology, safety and sustainability, we celebrate the excellence and the vision that powers this evolution. Get ready for breakthrough ideas, bold conversations, and the roadmap for India's mobility revolution. Today, we have stellar panels such as Drive Like a Woman, India's luxury car boom, Safe Roads, Safe India, and recognitions in the categories Luxury EV Brand of the Year, Sustainable Mobility Champion of the Year, Scooter of the Year, Best 350cc Motorcycle, Design of the Year, Iconic Car of the Year, Innovation in Mobility, Electric Car of the Year, Bike of the Year, Disruptive EV of the Year, SUV of the Year, Manufacturer of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Zee Media Auto Summit 2025, driving the future.
Of course, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we have been taking you through, and a lot has been lined up. And as I said, in a short while from now, Union Minister Nitin Gadkari will be here among us, sharing up with us insights and the government's POV as far as a plethora of issues are concerned. We also talk about road safety. We've got a number of felicitations to be given, whether it's the EV of the year, manufacturer of the year, scooter of the year, or the motorcycle, the bike, 350cc motorcycle of the year. A lot that is lined up this evening, and as we gear up to welcome Mr. Nitin Gadkari, let me tell you, he's been a transformational leader as far as the country's infrastructure is concerned. He's credited with the revolutionary Mumbai-Pune Expressway, something that also earned him the phrase, the Expressway Man of India, and somebody who's been reducing our travel time. Extremely grateful for that, the kind of transformation that we've seen as far as our highways are concerned. He has connected, as I said, some of the remotest villages of this country. He's basically transformed the way India moves. And as I said, in a short while from now, in fact, any time from now, we are expecting Mr. Nitin Gadkari to be among us. It's a very special moment for all of us this evening to have such an inspirational leader join us, talk about a number of issues, clarify our questions that we have, and something that is talked about a lot, something that is in focus, electric vehicles. He has been talking about it, and I assure you he's going to talk about it and much more this evening as we welcome him. But as far as this entire evening is concerned, remember, we are going to be felicitating a number of people who have been contributing to the automobile industry, some revolutionary work that has been done in this industry, the kind of changes that have come in, the kind of infrastructure that is needed, that is being built within the auto industry, and whether it's, design or trailblazer changes that we have seen in sedans, in EVs, in SUVs, you name it, and we got it covered for you this evening. It has been, an exciting one so far this entire evening, and I assure you, I promise you that we've got a lot lined up in the rest of the evening as well as we await Minister Gadkari to be with us. He has been somebody, who's interestingly been a veteran leader, but he's inspired youngsters as well. Youngsters have been looking at the kind of work he does and they've been quite inspired by the kind of contribution that he's made as the Minister of Road Transport and Highways, something due to which he is called the Highway Man of India as well. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of work that goes into being called that and making the kind of change that the country has seen in these many years. We await Mr. Gadkari's arrival here. It's going to be a very special, significant conversation with him. And so far as our earlier sessions have been concerned, whether it was Mr. Brar talking about the luxury boom in this country, Gen Z, the youngsters, making sure that they book their own luxury cars, they have their own share of luxury being experienced, or whether it is the auto industry now basically focusing on simplifying it for the consumer. They've been doing it, but of course, now there are concerns about environmental challenges, and that is something that the auto industry has been focusing on largely, and that is something that we will be talking about here as well. Now, sustainable mobility is also something that is extremely important in the kind of world that we are living in and the kind of challenges that we are grappling with, whether it's, environmental pollution or other infrastructure issues that, we see not just in India but across the world. Those have to be collectively resolved so that we can achieve smoother mobility, more eco-friendly mobility. And, that is what the aim is, and that is something that we're celebrating here today, talking about it, having some insightful conversations about it, and of course, making sure that we get you answers to the number of questions that you might have. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special and inspirational leader among us today, the man who has transformed the way India moves. Please give a huge round of applause for Union Minister of Road Transport and Highways, Mr. Nitin Gadkari. Welcome, sir, to the Zee Media Auto Summit. Welcome, sir, to the Zee Media Auto Summit. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our chief guest for this evening. Making everyday transportation seamless and connecting India like never before, here's the story of a man, visionary, and a leader in its truest sense.
He is one of India's most respected political voices, a visionary who has redefined the nation's mobility landscape. Under his leadership, India's road infrastructure has seen transformative progress, making India home to the world's second largest road network. His push for innovation, clean energy, and future-ready transport is steering India towards global automotive leadership and shaping the nation's progress for decades to come. We warmly welcome the Honourable Minister for Road Transport and Highways, Government of India, Shri Nitin Gadkari ji.
Our chief guest this evening with a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And now it is my pleasure to invite on stage the Highwayman of India, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, the Minister of Road Transport and Highways. I also request Mr. Priyadarshan Garg, Chief Business Officer, India.com Digital Private Limited, to please felicitate our chief guest for the evening, Mr. Nitin Gadkari. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. He's been a leader who has been inspirational in very many ways. He's transformed the infrastructure of the country, made travel smoother for us, reduced the travel time, and of course, connected some of the remotest villages of our country. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. All right, with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's quickly move on to our felicitation ceremony. I invite Mr. Raktim Das, Chief Executive Officer, Zee Media Corporation Limited, to please join us on stage for the felicitation ceremony. All right, before that, let me quickly get all of you the pleasure of having Mr. Nitin Gadkari answer our questions and talk to us. I invite Shobna, my colleague, to please come up on stage. Mr. Das, we will of course have you once again. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Gentlemen, as I told you, it's going to be an insightful conversation with Mr. Nitin Gadkari. A lot of concerns that were expressed, a lot of questions that you all have in mind. Shobna is going to take us through Mr. Gadkari's point of view and, of course, the government's point of view as far as EVs and a lot of other issues that are concerned. Shobna, over to you.
Thank you so much, Shreya. नमस्कार दोस्तों, मैं आपके साथ शोभना यादव और मेरे साथ जो बैठे हुए हैं वो किसी तारुफ के मोहताज नहीं है। नितिन गडकरी जी हाईवे मैन कहे जाते हैं। सर, मुझे कहा गया है आपसे सवाल पूछने के लिए। अब आपसे मैं क्या सवाल पूछूं, लेकिन मेरा सवाल आपसे यही है कि इतनी लंबी जर्नी में हाईवे मैन ऑफ इंडिया आप कहला रहे हैं, सबसे बड़ी उपलब्धि और सबसे बड़ी चुनौती, मतलब सबसे बड़े फेल्योर की मैं यहाँ बात कर रही हूँ आपसे।
देखिए, हर काम में चुनौती होती है और ओनरशिप अगर होगी, कमिटमेंट होगी, तो हम अच्छा काम करने का प्रयास करते हैं। मुझे नहीं लगता कि बहुत से प्रोजेक्ट चल रहे हैं। अभी हमने देहरादून दिल्ली ये प्रोजेक्ट अभी लगभग ट्रायल में चालू भी किया है और 15 दिन में दिल्ली से देहरादून 2 घंटे में ये रोड शुरू हो जाएगा। तो ऐसे कानपुर से लखनऊ आधे घंटे में हो जाएगा। ऐसे और करीब 25-30 प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं, कुछ हुए हैं, कुछ होने की स्थिति में है। और ये पूरे करने से सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ है कि हमारे देश की इकोनॉमी में हमारी जो लॉजिस्टिक कॉस्ट है एक समय 16% थी, चाइना में 8% थी और यूरोपियन कंट्रीज़ में 12%। अगर हमारे देश का एक्सपोर्ट बढ़ाना है, इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ करनी है, तो लॉजिस्टिक कॉस्ट को कम करना चाहिए। तो अगर लगातार हम रोड भी जैसे अच्छे बना रहे हैं, वैसे अल्टरनेटिव फ्यूल और बायोफ्यूल पे भी लगातार आग्रह से काम कर रहे हैं। तो ये मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में 10-11 साल में जो प्रयास हमने किया है, उस प्रयासों का एक नतीजा ये भी निकला है कि अभी KPMG ने एक रिपोर्ट प्रकाशित किया, उसमें उन्होंने कहा है कि 81% गुड्स ट्रैफिक रोड पर है, 1% रेलवे पर और बाकी मोड के लिए बाकी है। और दूसरा एक रिपोर्ट IIM बेंगलोर
जी
और IIT चेन्नई और IIT कानपुर तीनों ने मिलकर ये कहा है कि हमारी लॉजिस्टिक कॉस्ट 6% कम हुई है। तो मुझे लगता है कि हमने तो तय किया था कि ये दिसंबर एंड होने तक हम देश की लॉजिस्टिक कॉस्ट को ये सिंगल डिजिट यानी 9% पर लेकर आएंगे। और निश्चित रूप से मुझे विश्वास है कि लॉजिस्टिक कॉस्ट कम होगी तो हमारी इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ में हमारा एक्सपोर्ट 1.5 गुना होगा। और एक्सपोर्ट अगर बढ़ेगा तो एम्प्लॉयमेंट क्रिएट होगी और हमारे देश की वेल्थ में भी काफ़ी बड़े प्रमाण पर इसका फ़ायदा होगा, टैक्स रेवेन्यू भी बढ़ेगा। तो कहीं ना कहीं एक स्ट्रॉन्ग इकोनॉमी, एक हमें वर्ल्ड की 3rd लार्जेस्ट इकोनॉमी बनाने का जो हमारा प्रयास है, उसमें निश्चित रूप से हम कामयाब होंगे। और ऑटोमोबाइल इंडस्ट्री ऐसी है कि वो हमारी ग्रोथ इंजन है। और एक समय हमारा नंबर जो था लगभग 7वें नंबर पर हम वर्ल्ड में थे
जी।
और अभी 6-7 महीने पहले हम जापान को पीछे डालकर हम तीसरे नंबर पर आए हैं। और पहले नंबर पर अमेरिका है जो 79 लाख करोड़ उनका साइज़ है इंडस्ट्री का। 49 लाख करोड़ चाइना है और हम 22 लाख करोड़ है। पर जिस प्रकार से हमारी ऑटोमोबाइल इंडस्ट्री काम कर रही है
जी।
इनोवेशन में, क्वालिटी में, अल्टरनेटिव फ्यूल और बायो फ्यूल में, कंस्ट्रक्शन इक्विपमेंट, एग्रीकल्चर इक्विपमेंट, इन सब को देखते हुए हमारा ये टारगेट है कि एक समय हम इस देश को वर्ल्ड का नंबर 1 ऑटोमोबाइल इंडस्ट्री बनाएंगे।
बहुत बढ़िया सर। मैं एक और टारगेट चाहती हूँ आप सेट करें। आपकी पार्टी कहती है कांग्रेस मुक्त भारत और आप कहते हैं जाम मुक्त भारत। तो ये टारगेट आप कब सेट करेंगे कि हमें जाम से राहत मिल जाएगी? ये जो ट्रैफिक जैम है ना सर, ये मतलब
देखिए, पहली दिल्ली जैसा उदाहरण है कि दिल्ली में हम लोग 1.5 लाख करोड़ रुपए के रोड प्रोजेक्ट्स कर रहे हैं। उसमें से करीब 50-60 हज़ार करोड़ के प्रोजेक्ट लगभग पूरे हुए हैं और अभी हम लोग और कुछ प्रोजेक्ट कर रहे हैं। और हमारे डिपार्टमेंट भी ये सोच हो रही है और प्रधानमंत्री जी को भी हमने रिक्वेस्ट की, उनके तरफ से भी हमको सूचनाएं मिली है कि हम लोग अब अर्बन डिकंजेशन पर काम करें। हम रिंग रोड्स बना रहे बड़े बड़े शहरों के और वो रिंग रोड काफ़ी कॉस्टली है। तो स्वाभाविक रूप से अब शहर के अंदर के भी रोड है। चेन्नई में एक एलिवेटेड रोड बना रहे, नीचे में रोड, ऊपर में फ्लाईओवर एक ही पिलर पर, उसके ऊपर में फ्लाईओवर, उसके ऊपर में मेट्रो। पूना में 50,000 करोड़ के हम लोग इसी प्रकार के प्रोजेक्ट लगभग आने वाले महीने 2 महीने में हम 2-3 प्रोजेक्ट।
सर प्रॉब्लम क्या हो रही है यहाँ पे? जितने लोग बैठे हुए हैं वो भी इस बात से सहमत होंगे कि एक्सप्रेसवे का तो जाल आपने बना दिया, लेकिन जब उस एक्सप्रेसवे के जाल से हम शहरों में अंदर एंटर करते हैं तो हम इतना बुरा फंसते हैं कि हम दिल्ली से जयपुर तो 2.5 घंटे में आ जाते हैं, लेकिन गुड़गांव से दिल्ली जो है वो अगले 2.5 घंटे में पहुंच पाते हैं। तो ये जो कष्ट है इसको मुझे लगता है यहाँ बैठे सभी लोग झेल रहे होंगे और इसीलिए ये सवाल मैं आपसे पूछ रही हूँ।
आपका सही
इससे
सवाल
मुक्ति कब मिलेगी हमें?
आपका सही सवाल गलत व्यक्ति को। अभी जैसे दिल्ली में है तो दिल्ली स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के रोड्स है, डीडीए के रोड्स है, दिल्ली म्यूनिसिपल कॉरपोरेशन के रोड है और एनएचआई के रोड है। मैं केवल एनएचआई के लिए जिम्मेदार हूँ। मेरा प्रॉब्लम ये है कि 60% सोशल मीडिया पर रोड के गड्ढे दिखा दे और फोटो मेरा लगता है और मैं जब वेरीफाई करता हूँ तो रोड स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का होता है। तो कोई भी रोड अच्छा बनेगा तो हमने बनाया करके लोग कहते हैं, और अगर रोड खराब दिखा तो ये भी हमारे नाम पर लगाते हैं। तो धीरे धीरे ये एक समस्या है कि बाकी भी एजेंसी इन्वॉल्व है। और हम लोग अभी ये अर्बन डिकंजेशन का जो प्रोग्राम है जिसके ऊपर दिल्ली में हमने काम किया है, फिर हम लोग अभी पूना में काम कर रहे हैं, चेन्नई में करेंगे, बेंगलोर में रिंग रोड बना रहे हैं, बेंगलोर मैसूर हमने बनाया जहाँ 3-3.5-4 घंटे लगते थे 45 मिनट में हुआ। अब बेंगलोर से चेन्नई बना रहे हैं, 2 घंटे में हो जाएगा, काफ़ी काम उसका हुआ है। तो कहीं ना कहीं हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं, पर एक बात थोड़ा साफ रूप से कहना मुझे संकोच हो रहा है, पर हमारे देश के भी लोग, अब ऑटोमोबाइल इंडस्ट्री भी है
सर, बिल्कुल संकोच मत
इतने बड़े प्रमाण पर पॉपुलेशन भी बढ़ाने का काम कर रहे हैं और दूसरी ओर ऑटोमोबाइल का नंबर बढ़ा रहे हैं। आप नाराज मत होइए, ये दिल्ली के लोगों में तो और ऐसा है कि बिल्डिंग बड़ी बनाते हैं और गाड़ियाँ रोड पर खड़ी करते हैं, तो पार्किंग भी नहीं बनाते हैं। तो कहीं ना कहीं आप सबका जब सहयोग मिलेगा तो ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होगा। पोल्यूशन ये भी समस्या है
जी,
और जिसका मैं भी इन्फेक्शन हो रहा, हवा ठीक नहीं, तो मुझे लगता है कि इसके खिलाफ प्रायोरिटी पर हमको देकर काम करना पड़ेगा और हम बड़े संवेदनशील है, इसके पीछे काम करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं।
ठीक है सर, यहाँ पे ऑडियंस है, उनके मैं सवाल लूंगी, लेकिन चलते चलते टोल की एक समस्या बहुत बड़ी है। आपने टोल पास की बात की, वो टोल पास 3,000 रुपये का आप चार्ज करा लीजिए, लेकिन स्टेट हाईवेज पे वो काम नहीं कर रहा है। इस तरीके की दिक्कतों को आप कैसे डील करेंगे और इसके लिए आपकी क्या वो है? और उसके बाद फिर मैं ऑडियंस के सवाल लूंगी।
स्टेट हाईवे पे वो काम करेगा ही नहीं, क्योंकि हमारा जो पास है वो केवल हमारे रोड के लिए है।
अब सर आप हमारा तुम्हारा करेंगे तो फिर कैसे चलेगा?
नहीं, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है, स्टेट लिस्ट है, सेंट्रल लिस्ट है, कॉन्करेंट लिस्ट है, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को ऑटोनोमस स्टेटस है मैं उनके रोड पर कोई काम नहीं कर सकता।
लेकिन
उनका
सर
अधिकार
क्या
है।
कोई ऐसी योजना नहीं आ सकती कि मिल के काम किया जाए? अब कितने
मैं
टोल
आपको
पासेस आदमी रखे
ऑलरेडी
अपने
स्टेट
पास?
गवर्नमेंट को कह चुका हूँ
जी
कि हम लोग ये जो बैरियर्स निकाल कर पूरे, हम डायरेक्ट नंबर प्लेट का फोटो निकलेगा और हमारा फास्टैग होगा, कहीं रुकने की जरूरत नहीं, कोई रोकेगा नहीं। ऐसे पहले 10 प्रोजेक्ट हमने शुरू किए और 1 साल के अंदर हम 850-900 हमारे टोल नाकों को टोल नाका मुक्त करेंगे। आपको कहीं रुकने की
सर
जरूरत
बहुत,
नहीं।
मैं वही कह रही हूँ
और
ना
उसका
कि
एक
हम
छोटा सा
गाड़ी खरीद रहे हैं तो
एक छोटा
टैक्स
सा
दे रहे
फायदा
हैं।
भी है
हाँ।
कि आपको अभी टोल देना पड़ता है। इसमें सुविधा ऐसी कि जहाँ से आप एंट्री करोगे वहाँ से कैमरा नंबर प्लेट का फोटो निकालेगा और जहाँ से आप बाहर निकालोगे वहाँ का फोटो निकालेगा, उतने ही डिस्टेंस का टोल कटेगा।
सर कुछ मैं उसका भी तो कीजिए, हम गाड़ी खरीदें तो उस पर पैसा दें, पेट्रोल खरीदें तो उस पर हम सेस दें, उसके बाद आपका इतना टोल भी दें। हमारी सारी तनख्वाह तो सर आप ही लोग ले लेते हैं, तो हम लोग
कहाँ
क्या
जा रही
करें?
है? नहीं, आपकी बचत हो रही है। मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि हमारे देश में इतना बड़ा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर खड़ा करने के लिए हमने मार्केट से पैसा उठाया है।
सर बाहर विदेशों में फ्यूल टैक्स से सड़कें
आप
बनती हैं,
मुझे
अमेरिका
बताइए
जैसे
ऐसा
देशों
कौन
में।
सा देश है
हम-
कि जहाँ टोल नहीं है?
सर अमेरिका में बहुत कम
बिल्कुल टोल है।
नहीं, टोल है पर वो उन सर्विसेज
देखिए,
के लिए है कि अगर आपको बिना रुके जाना है,
मैं
आपको
अक्सर
एक्सप्रेस चाहिए
ये
तो
सवाल ऐसे कार्यक्रम में कभी कभी पूछता हूँ, पर आप माफ करिए मुझे।
जी
आपने ये होटल में कार्यक्रम क्यों किया? हम रामलीला मैदान पे बैठ जाते, 2 लाइट लगाते, 2 चेयर लगाते, चाय वही पी लेते। जब आप 5 स्टार होटल में कार्यक्रम करोगे तो ये हॉल, ये अरेंजमेंट, ये सब आपको फ्री ऑफ चार्ज, इसका
पर सर
पैसा देना
सवाल तो
पड़ेगा।
मुझे मिडिल क्लास के उठाने पड़ेंगे ना।
देखिए, इफ यू वांट गुड सर्विसेज यू हैव टू पे फॉर इट।
ओके।
और दूसरी बात, अब ये 3000 रुपए में 200 पास है, तो हमने इसको इतना सस्ता कर दिया है कि अब वो ज्यादा कोई लोगों पे बर्डन नहीं रहा, सब गाड़ी वाले उसमें से निकल गए। और दूसरी बात ये है स्कूटर, ऑटो रिक्शा, एग्रीकल्चर गुड्स टैक्स नहीं, टोल नहीं है। अब मुझे एक बताइए कि आखिर अगर अच्छे अच्छे हाईवे, एक अभी मुंबई से दिल्ली हाईवे 1 लाख करोड़ का है। अब 1 लाख करोड़ में हमारे बजट का कुछ पैसा, कुछ मार्केट का पैसा, वो वापस तो करना पड़ेगा।
पर डिले हो रहे हैं आपके प्रोजेक्ट्स। आपने कहा था कि मुंबई दिल्ली एक्सप्रेसवे खुल जाएगा, 2 साल डिले हो गया, दिल्ली देहरादून डिले हो गया, तो उससे भी तो आपकी कॉस्ट बढ़ रही है, जिसका बर्डन जो है वो हम लोगों पर आ रहा है टैक्स के रूप में।
नहीं, ऐसा है, देखिए हमारे प्रोजेक्ट लगभग बाय एंड लार्ज पहले बहुत डिले होते थे, अब लगभग ये 20% पे आया है, क्योंकि हम 90% लैंड एक्विजिशन करके के बिना और पोजीशन में आए बिना अपॉइंटमेंट डेट ही नहीं देते। इन्वायरमेंट फॉरेस्ट क्लियरेंस पहले क्लियर कर लेते, फिर अपॉइंटमेंट डेट देते हैं। तो हमने काफ़ी उसमें सुधार किया है, कानून में सुधार किया है, सिस्टम में सुधार किया है। अभी प्री कास्ट को मैंडेटरी किया है। अभी हमने कहा कि आपको पूरा प्री कास्ट मटेरियल यूज़ करना पड़ेगा। तो कहीं ना कहीं इसमें सुधार किए हैं कि मुझे लगता है कि अब डिले ज़्यादा नहीं होगा। और एक बात ये भी हुई है कि डिले जो होता है उसमें इंक्रोचमेंट हटाना है। वो कानून और व्यवस्था स्टेट का सब्जेक्ट होता है, लैंड एक्विजिशन स्टेट की तरफ से करनी पड़ती है, और इन्वायरमेंट फॉरेस्ट के क्लियरेंस स्टेट हमको यहाँ बेचती है। हमारे यहाँ बहुत से बार ऐसा होता है कि रेलवे के क्लियरेंसेस हमको लेने पड़ते हैं। इसमें कभी कभी थोड़ी देरी होती है, पर अभी हमने इसको काफ़ी, आपको मैं बताऊं कि मैं जब मंत्री बना 2014 में
जी,
तो हमें विरासत के रूप में 3,85,000 करोड़ के 406 प्रोजेक्ट बंद पड़े हुए थे, और हमने कोशिश करते करते हुए भारतीय बैंकों को 3 लाख करोड़ के एनपीए से बचाया। 40,000 करोड़ के प्रोजेक्ट टर्मिनेट कर दिए, और लगभग पूरे प्रॉब्लम्स, आप उस समय याद करिए, अनेक कंपनियां बड़ी बड़ी थी वो खत्म हो गई और बैंकों की स्थिति खराब हो गई थी, पर हमने उनके सबके पैसे वसूल किए, उसके ऊपर निर्णय किए, और ऊपर अभी दिल्ली जयपुर एक एक प्रोजेक्ट की किताब लिखने लायक कहानियां हैं। पर अब वो प्रॉब्लम्स लगभग काफ़ी रिजॉल्व हुए हैं।
ठीक है। अब मैं चाहती हूँ कि ऑडियंस में से जो भी सवाल लेना चाहते हैं वो अपना हाथ उठाएं ऊपर और सर से सवाल पूछ लें। माइक कोई दे रहा है? हाँ।
सर जय श्री राम, मैं कानपुर से मोहित सेठ। सर मेरा एक सवाल है, मेरे को कानपुर से दिल्ली आना बहुत महंगा पड़ता है टोल टैक्स। मैं सिर्फ एक्सप्रेस वे पकड़ के आता हूँ तो 2,000 रुपये मिनिमम मैं पे करता हूँ। तो सर कुछ करिए उसमें, एक्सप्रेस वे में कुछ करें आप टोल के लिए।
आप उत्तर प्रदेश का एक्सप्रेस हाईवे यूज करते हो कि हमारा?
सर बुंदेलखंड से आता हूँ मैं, बुंदेलखंड, कानपुर, लखनऊ, फिर लखनऊ।
देखो कानपुर लखनऊ तो अभी हमने आधा घंटे में कर देंगे, हमने पास दे दिया 3,000 रुपये का, 15 रुपये टोल पड़ेगा।
सर पता ही नहीं चलता कि किसमें लग रहा है।
ये जो बुंदेलखंड का हाईवे है,
जी जी जी,
या आगरा से दिल्ली वाला हाईवे है, ये यूपी सरकार के है।
राइट सर।
तो ये तो हाईवे उनके रेट ज्यादा है, अब वो आप उनको रिक्वेस्ट करिए।
सर यूपी सरकार अपनी
ठीक
सरकार
है,
है।
नेक्स्ट मुझे लगता है नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। यस,
मैं आपकी बात पहुंचाऊंगा उनके पास।
थैंक यू सो मच।
वैसे हमने हमारी जो टोल की पॉलिसी है वो सब स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को ऑफर की है।
गुड इवनिंग सर। सर मेरा एक छोटा सा सवाल है, मुझे नहीं पता ये स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के अंडर आता है या आपके अंडर आता है। इंडिया में पैदल चलने वाले लोगों के लिए या साइकिल चलाने वाले लोगों के लिए एक फ्रेंडली इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर नहीं है, और जिस तरह से पोल्यूशन हो रहा है, मुझे लग रहा है अगर एक वो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर रेडी होगा तो लोग साइकिल से, बाइक से जा पाएंगे अपने ऑफिस या छोटे मोटे काम के लिए। जस्ट बिकॉज इट्स नॉट फ्रेंडली, यहाँ पे फ्रेंडली इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर नहीं है, तो उसके लिए बहुत दिक्कत है। तो क्या हमारी सरकार इस बारे में कुछ कर रही है?
विशेष रूप से जो बड़े शहर हैं वहाँ जो हम हाईवे हमारे NH के हैं वहाँ हम फुटपाथ डेवलप कर रहे हैं। फिर हमारे एक टेक्नोलॉजी वाइट टॉपिंग, तो हम उसको सीमेंट कंक्रीट का रोड बनाते हैं, ड्रेनेज सिस्टम के ऊपर में हम फुटपाथ करते हैं, और वहाँ हमने साइकिल के लिए भी रास्ता बनाया। कुछ शहरों में NH में बनाया है, जैसे मेरे कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी में नागपुर में बनाया, काफ़ी जगह पर बनाया, और शहर तक ये सीमित है। पर हमारे जो हाईवे होते हैं उसके हम साइकिल को अलाउ नहीं करते हैं। तो जो सिटी एरिया है वहाँ करेंगे। अभी दिल्ली में भी कुछ रोड हम अंदर के कर रहे हैं, उसमें ज़रूर मैं मानता हूँ कि हमने साइकिल को भी अभी प्रमोट करना चाहिए, और बड़े शहरों में साइकिल हेल्थ के लिए, फिटनेस के लिए अच्छा है।
पोल्यूशन के लिए भी।
सर मैं सर एक और अगले सवाल का मैं रुख करूंगी, लेकिन उससे पहले इलेक्ट्रिक कार्स के ऊपर आप बहुत जोर देते हैं और एनवायरनमेंट फ्रेंडली है, ऑफ कोर्स पोल्यूशन कम होगा, इसके फ़ायदे बहुत हैं। यहाँ पर बहुत सारे ऐसे क्लाइंट्स होंगे हम लोगों के जो इलेक्ट्रिक गाड़ियों का व्यापार मतलब आगे होंगे और उसको करना चाहते होंगे, लेकिन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की बहुत कमी है। 2025 की शुरुआत तक 235 गाड़ियों के लिए एक चार्जिंग स्टेशन था। तो जब हम सरकार कोई योजना लाती है या किसी चीज़ को कहती है कि एनवायरनमेंट के लिए ज़रूरी है, लेकिन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर उस तरीके से पहले से तैयार नहीं होता है, तो उसमें आम आदमी पिस जाता है।
देखिए पहली बात तो ऐसे ये चर्चा में ज़्यादा विषय है।
क्या सर?
ये डिस्कशन में विषय ज़्यादा है। मैं आपको पूछना चाहता हूँ कि जब मोबाइल फ़ोन शुरू हुआ, मुझे याद है मैंने इरिक्सन का एक फ़ोन लिया था, तो हर फ़ोन के साथ चार्जर अलग था। अब ये भी पहले दिक्कत आई कि चार्जर जो थे वो अलग अलग थे, फिर चार्जिंग के लिए समय लगता था
जी।
फिर हमारे अभी NHA में ध्यान में आया कि 24 रुपये यूनिट चार्जिंग का उसने पैसा लगाया। तो पहली बात, जो दिल्ली, मुंबई, कलकत्ता, नागपुर अपने शहर में रहते हैं, तो ये 2 व्हीलर्स वालों ने एक स्टडी किया और उसमें ये ध्यान में आया कि एक व्यक्ति 24 से 26 किलोमीटर स्कूटर रोज चलाता है। अब जब उसकी स्कूटर 120-135 किलोमीटर के लिए चार्ज होती है रात को घर में, तो उसको तो चार्जिंग करने की जरूरत ही नहीं। तो जितने इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल अभी कार है 350, 400, 450 किलोमीटर तक चार्ज हुई। तो प्रॉब्लम जो है उनके चार्जर गाड़ी के साथ मिलता है, घर में होता है रात को। प्रॉब्लम कहाँ है कि दिल्ली से मुंबई जाना है
जी,
या अभी दिल्ली से देहरादून जाना है या दिल्ली से जयपुर जाना वहाँ है, वहाँ NHA के तरफ से 670 रोड साइड एमिनिटीज हम बना रहे हैं और उसमें भी अब पॉलिसी में काफ़ी बदलाव कर रहे हैं। तो मुझे लगता है कि निश्चित रूप से आने वाले समय में
जी
हम लोग चार्जिंग सिस्टम सस्ती करेंगे। परसों पावर मिनिस्टर साहब को भी मैंने रिक्वेस्ट की है कि जो चार्जिंग जो होंगे उसके लिए जैसे एक टैरिफ अलग कोई आप दे सकेंगे तो जरूर दीजिए, ताकि हम सस्ते में चार्जिंग कर सकें। फिर और एक कोशिश हो रही कि जैसे हमारे रोड साइड एमिनिटीज में रेस्टोरेंट है, ये है, उसके ऊपर में सोलर लगाया
जी,
तो वहीं सोलर से वो चार्ज होते, तो वो भी कोशिश हो रही है। तो मुझे लगता है आने वाले समय में चार्जिंग ये प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, और अगर प्रॉब्लम रहता तो इलेक्ट्रिक 2 व्हीलर्स, इलेक्ट्रिक कार, इनके सेल में 25%, 30% राइज क्यों हो रहा है? लोग क्यों ले रहे हैं? इसका कारण ये है कि ये कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, पर जो दूर जाते हैं उनके लिए समस्या है। दूसरी बात, इसमें भी लगातार खूब टेक्नोलॉजी बदल रही है
जी।
शायद जल्दी हम ऐसे सिस्टम पर आएंगे कि स्कूटर से लेकर ट्रक तक चार्जिंग करने वाली सिस्टम एक ही होगी, और हमारे चार्जिंग सिस्टम में भी हम बहुत कम समय में फटाफट चार्ज करते जाएंगे, हमें कोई रुकने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी। ये लगातार डेवलप रहा। मैं हाइड्रोजन की गाड़ी में आया हूँ, तो आज वो
तालियां होनी चाहिए इस पर। कोई और सवाल कोई पूछना चाहता है? माइक दे दीजिए प्लीज। आप वैसे ही पूछ लीजिए, आवाज तेज है आपकी। बोलिए, मुझे पता रहता है।
हेलो हेलो, बहुत सारे हाईवेज आपने बनाए हैं, वो 4 व्हीलर्स उसका मजा ले रहे हैं, मगर 2 व्हीलर्स के लिए वो मतलब वहाँ पे अलाउड ही नहीं है 2 व्हीलर्स। तो सर मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि सर हम लोग भी ओवरऑल इंडिया कर चुके हैं, हम जाते रहते हैं, टूटे फूटे में भी कूद कूद के जाते हैं। अभी आप लोगों ने जो अच्छा एक हाईवे बनाया हुआ है, तो सर हमें भी तो अपॉर्चुनिटी मिले ना कि हम लोग उस हाईवे पे जाएं।
ठीक है सर, जवाब
देखिए, जो एक्सिस कंट्रोल हाईवे है उसमें हम 2 व्हीलर और 3 व्हीलर को परमिशन नहीं देंगे, क्योंकि वहाँ गाड़ियों की स्पीड, लेन डिसिप्लिन इतनी ज़्यादा है कि एक्सीडेंट्स होंगे। पहले हमारे देश में 5 लाख एक्सीडेंट होते, 1.5 लाख मौतें होती है, 1,80,000 मौतें होती है, और मरने वालों की जो एज ग्रुप है 66%।
नहीं तो इसमें किसकी कमी है? क्या एक्सप्रेस हाईवेज की कमी है, ड्राइविंग स्किल्स की कमी है, या जो हमारे टायर्स हैं वो उन हाईवेज के साथ फ्रेंडली नहीं है? आप इसमें क्या दिक्कत देख रहे हैं? क्योंकि ये मैं सवाल आपसे पूछने जा रही थी कि हमने इतने बड़े बड़े हाईवे बना दिए लेकिन वो किलर हाईवे साबित हो रहे हैं, क्यों?
बहुत साफ बात है, ये 4 इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें हैं
जी।
रोड इंजीनियरिंग, इसमें हमने सब सुधार कर दिया।
ठीक है।
इसमें हमने ब्लैक स्पॉट आइडेंटिफिकेशन 40,000 को, फिर भी हमारी कमियां है, हम उसको लगातार सुधारते हैं। दूसरा, ऑटोमोबाइल इंजीनियरिंग, 6 एयर बैग्स आ गई, ब्रेकिंग सिस्टम आ गई। अभी 2 व्हीलर में भी हमने चिंता की कि अच्छी ब्रेकिंग सिस्टम आए
जी।
तो ऑटोमोबाइल इंजीनियरिंग में लगभग वर्ल्ड स्टैंडर्ड के सुधार लगभग हो गए। तीसरी बात जो है इन्फोर्समेंट, हमने कानून इतना कड़क किया है कि अब कैमरे से फोटो निकाल रहे, फाइन भी भर रहे। और चौथी बात जो है ह्यूमन बिहेवियर। अब आपको ताज्जुब होगा कि अभी ये रोड है आपके सामने होटल के
जी,
ये रोड क्रॉस करने के लिए कोई महिला मैं देखता हूँ अपने बच्चों को लेकर उससे कूदी मारती है। यहाँ मैंने अभी हमारे इंजीनियर्स को कहा कि हिंदुस्तान का हर नागरिक ये वर्ल्ड स्टैंडर्ड का एथलेटिक्स प्लेयर है, ये समझकर इतनी हाइट बढ़ाओ कि कोई कूद ही नहीं मार सके। रेड सिग्नल लगा तो रुकना चाहिए, मोबाइल पर बातचीत नहीं करनी चाहिए स्कूटर कार चलाते समय। ये जो रूल्स ऑफ द रोड है, कानून के प्रति डर भी नहीं और सम्मान भी नहीं।
सम्मान भी नहीं। और एक्सप्रेस वे पे मैंने देखा है बहुत एक्सीडेंट्स हुए हैं, मैं रोज खबरें पढ़ती हूँ, रॉन्ग साइड से ले आ रहे हैं, एक माँ और बेटे की डेथ हो गई।
हेवी व्हीकल ने कौन से लेन में जाना, लाइट व्हीकल ने कौन से लेन में जाना, सब है। हम लगातार एजुकेट कर रहे हैं। और एक बात बताओ, क्या आप बाहर के देशों में जाइए, वहाँ कितने लोग कानून के बराबर चलते हैं। यहाँ तो ये इतना लाइटली लोग लेते हैं कि कहीं ना कहीं आप जैसे मीडिया के लोगों का भी सहयोग चाहिए, ताकि कानून के प्रति डर भी नहीं और सम्मान भी नहीं, ऐसी जो अवस्था है इससे बाहर निकलना पड़ेगा। और अभी इसलिए हम रोड सेफ्टी के लिए हमने बच्चों पर कॉन्सेंट्रेट किया है। और एक रोड सेफ्टी का गीत भी शंकर महादेवन ने गाया, अमिताभ बच्चन जी ने उसको ये किया। तो हम लगातार कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि हम लोग बच्चों को जिम्मेदार नागरिक बनाते समय रूल्स ऑफ द रोड के बारे में, वो कभी मोबाइल पे बात नहीं करना। क्या पढ़े लिखे लोग हैं, गाड़ी चलाते चलाते ऐसी बात करते हैं, स्कूटर चलाते ऐसी बात, ये क्यों करते हैं?
सर, अब उसके बाद श्रेया आएंगी, आगे कार्यक्रम को बढ़ाएंगे, लेकिन चलते चलते इस समय देश जो है वो, मैं अगर इस मंच से ये सवाल नहीं पूछूंगी तो शायद इनजस्टिस होगा। इंडिगो क्राइसिस, कौन जिम्मेदार?
देखिए, आप आज आपका ऑटो समिट है तो आप इंडिगो पे हवाई जहाज पे क्यों जा रही हो?
सर पर आप एक जी न्यूज की एंकर के साथ
पहली
बैठे
बात
और मेरे से भी ये
देखो,
पूछा जाएगा कि भाई इतनी बड़ी क्राइसिस
जितना
देश
आपको मालूम है उतना मुझे मालूम है। आज पार्लियामेंट में सभापति ने मंत्री जी को कल शायद वो निवेदन करेंगे, आज उन्होंने राज्यसभा में किया है। ये ऐसा उत्तर जनरली देना उचित नहीं होता, पर मेरा इस विषय से डायरेक्ट इनडायरेक्टली कोई संबंध नहीं है और मंत्री होने के नाते मैंने उसके ऊपर कोई प्रतिक्रिया देना, भाव व्यक्त करना ठीक नहीं होगा। पर मैं शुभकामनाएं देता हूं कि जल्दी ही ये क्राइसिस सॉल्व होगा और आप सबको इसमें रिलीफ मिलेगा।
ठीक है, एक सवाल और गिरिजेश जी पूछना चाहते हैं।
नमस्ते सर, मेरा नाम गिरिजेश है, मैं जी मीडिया से ही हूँ। बहुत स्वागत है आपका। सर मैं एक आप बीती आपको सुनाना चाहता हूँ अपनी। मैंने 2014 में एक डीजल कार खरीदी थी सर, और मेरा ऑफिस इत्तेफाक से बहुत दूर नहीं है मेरे घर से, तो 10 साल में मेरी कार 1 लाख से भी कम किलोमीटर चली हुई थी। लेकिन क्योंकि जो सरकार का नियम है कि डीजल कार है तो 10 साल में आपको निकाल देनी पड़ेगी और पेट्रोल है तो 15 साल में, तो मुझे मजबूरन अपनी कार बेचनी पड़ी और नई कार खरीदनी पड़ी। क्या सर ऐसा कोई फीडबैक सरकार के संज्ञान में है, और क्या हमारे जैसे लोगों की समस्या कम करने के लिए सरकार कुछ सोच रही है?
सर पूरी
सर आप मीडिया के हैं, आपने कभी देखा है कि कोई एंकर एक ही कार्यक्रम 10 साल चला रही है?
सर
कार्यक्रम
जीवन में
सर एंकर को
आप देखिए, मैं जब कॉलेज में था तो मैंने 2 व्हीलर खरीदी की थी, तब उसका एवरेज 32 किलोमीटर पर लीटर था। तो मैं सबको कहता था कि मेरी गाड़ी 32 किलोमीटर एवरेज देती है। अब वो 80 और 88 किलोमीटर आए। अब इलेक्ट्रिक गाड़ी आई, इलेक्ट्रिक स्कूटर आई, सीएनजी की स्कूटर आई। सब आपकी जो गाड़ी एवरेज देती है, आज नई गाड़ी क्या देती है, इलेक्ट्रिक का खर्चा कितना है? आप जिस डीजल कार पर 15,000 रुपये खर्चा कर रहे हो, अगर आप वही इलेक्ट्रिक कार करोगे तो आपका 2,000 रुपये खर्चा आएगा, 13,000 रुपये महीने की बचत होगी।
सर लेकिन वो 5 लाख की गाड़ी कहाँ से खरीदें, ये भी तो समझाइए। एवरेज तो कम आएगा, आप समझिए जिसकी तनख्वाह 12 लाख रुपए साल की हो, 1 लाख रुपए, उसमें उसको घर खरीदने की ईएमआई भी देनी है, गाड़ी भी वो ईएमआई पे खरीद ले, घर परिवार भी उसको चलाना है। देखिए, एक जो पुराने समय के एक ट्रक जितना पोल्यूशन करता था, आज के नए 3 ट्रक उतना पोल्यूशन करते हैं। ये पुरानी डीजल की गाड़ी कितना पोल्यूशन कर रही। देखो, मैं तो बहुत इसके प्रति संवेदनशील, मैं दिल्ली में रहता ही नहीं, फटा 2-4 दिन में निकल जाता हूँ। आप मुझे बताइए, ये जो पोल्यूशन की लेवल है दिल्ली की, इसके दुष्परिणामों के मैंने आपको कल्पना नहीं देनी चाहिए, मुझे बोलना नहीं चाहिए, पर ये हमारे जीवन कम करने वाली बात है। ये सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट क्रूशियल सवाल है कि एयर पोल्यूशन को किसी भी स्थिति में हमको कम करना है, और इसलिए डीजल पेट्रोल हजार्डस है, और ये हमारे 22 लाख करोड़ का इंपोर्ट है। हमारे देश का इतना पैसा बाहर जा रहा है, ऊपर से ये पोल्यूशन है। क्या इसको कम नहीं करना चाहिए? और इसमें आपकी एक केस है कि आप इतना 1 लाख किलोमीटर चले इतने साल में, पर यहाँ लोग 300-400 किलोमीटर रोज चलते हैं, उनका क्या? तो मुझे आपसे एक रिक्वेस्ट करनी है कि देखो, हम कपड़े भी सिलाते हैं, अच्छे भी होने के बाद 2 साल के बाद बदल देते हैं, नए लेते हैं। हम घर भी बनाते हैं, इंटीरियर करते हैं, हम 3-4-5 साल में फिर नया करते हैं। वैसे चल सकता है पर बनाते हैं। यहाँ तो पोल्यूशन है, एवरेज कम मिलता है। देखिए, बाय एंड लार्ज आप सबके हितों में है कि हमको 10 साल के बाद उसको बदलना। ये तो दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट का कानून है। मैं आपको एक सुझाव देता हूँ। क्या आपकी डीजल गाड़ी आप सीएनजी पर कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं क्या? अब दिल्ली में सीएनजी मिलता है। क्या पेट्रोल की गाड़ी उसमें किट है आजकल उसकी? आपके कॉस्ट भी बचेगी, पोल्यूशन भी कम होगा। तो कहीं ना कहीं और ऐसे कोई ऑप्शंस के लिए आप देखिए। आजकल काफी बड़े प्रमाण पर अनेक फैसिलिटी है, उसका भी विचार करिए। बाकी डीजल पेट्रोल बहुत हजार्डस है। अभी हम इथेनॉल के फ्लेक्स इंजन के गाड़ियाँ आ रही है, 100% इथेनॉल, ग्रीन फ्यूल है, सस्ता है, पोल्यूशन नहीं है, किसानों को बेनिफिट होगा। फिर हम इथेनॉल से आइसोब्यूटेनॉल बना रहे, वो डीजल का अल्टरनेटिव है। मैंने अभी ट्रैक्टर के लिए, उस पे तो आरोप लग रहा है ना कि परफॉर्मेंस कार की खराब हो जा रही है उस इथेनॉल।
किसकी? एक नाम बताओ। किसका परफॉर्मेंस खराब हुआ। कल है परसों पार्लियामेंट में क्वेश्चन भी है इसके ऊपर। आप बताओ बड़ा मुझे एक नाम।
ये तो आरोप लग रहा है सर। मैं
अरे आरोप कुछ
किसी
भी लगते
कंपनी का नाम लेके मैं यहाँ पर वो नहीं करूंगी।
अब आरोप तो ऐसे मैं इथेनॉल की बात करता हूँ, अल्टरनेटिव फ्यूल की, बायोफ्यूल की, हाइड्रोजन की बात करता हूँ। तो जो इंपोर्ट कम नहीं होना चाहिए देश का 22 लाख करोड़।
जी सर।
दिल्ली में प्रदूषण जो हो रहा है इससे आप दुखी नहीं है? आप अस्वस्थ नहीं है? खुश है आप? क्या दिल्ली का प्रदूषण कम नहीं होना चाहिए? और कुछ बातों के लिए हम सबको सहयोग करना पड़ेगा।
बिल्कुल। तो अब मैं श्रेया को आमंत्रित करना चाहूँगी। श्रेया अब इस कार्यक्रम को आगे बढ़ाएंगी और मैं चाहती हूँ ज़ोरदार तालियां नितिन जी के लिए एक बार होनी चाहिए। जिस तरीके के हाईवेज़ हमें मिले, हमारे लिए वेकेशन करना कितना आसान हो गया है, हम कहीं भी झट से पहुँच जाते हैं, लोगों को बहुत फ़ायदा हो रहा है, पेट्रोल कम लग रहा है, उनके पैसे भी बच रहे हैं। और नितिन जी ने सब सवालों के जवाब बेबाकी के साथ दिए हैं। Shreya, over to you.
Thank you, Shobna, and thank you, Minister Gadkari. Of course, I request you to be on the stage with us, please. It's been an insightful conversation, extremely important questions that were clarified by the Union Minister. Remember, Mr. Nitin Gadkari has been honest. He's been candid in all the questions that we asked him. I now invite Chief Executive Officer, Zee Media Corporation Limited, Mr. Raktim Das, to please join Minister Gadkari on stage for the felicitation ceremony. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a fascinating conversation with the Union Minister, and of course, there is a lot that is lined up this evening as far as honoring those who have been contributing to the auto industry are concerned. We start with our first category, ladies and gentlemen, and our first category is Luxury EV Brand of the Year. And well, which one is winning this one? Well, this is being given to BMW. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. The name is enough for all of us to know that when it comes to luxury, we think of BMW. I invite Mr. Hardeep Singh Brar, President and CEO BMW Group India, to please receive the award. All right, ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause. All right, ladies and gentlemen, moving on, this one's an important one in the times we live in. As the world moves towards a cleaner and more responsible future, remember the automotive sector stands at the forefront of change. Our next category is Sustainable Mobility Champion of the Year. Goes to Toyota Kirloskar Motors for showing the way towards a world which is greener. I invite Mr. Vikram Gulati, Country Head and EVP, Toyota Kirloskar Motor, to receive the award from Mr. Gadkari. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. All right, moving on to our next category, ladies and gentlemen. It is called the Scooter of the Year. Well, this one, ladies and gentlemen, is very interesting. This one is going to Hero Destiny 125. It's a stylish and comfortable scooter, which is a family scooter. Its elegant design and practical features make it an instant hit. Mr. Baman Irani, co-founder Classic Legends. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. All right. right, let's move on from scooters to bikes now. Ladies and gentlemen, our next category is best among 350cc motorcycles. And well, this one is going to, yes, the Roadster, a modern cruiser motorcycle, loved for its distinct styling, agile handling, and feature-rich package. It offers a blend of maneuverability in the city as well as highway capability. Mr. Baman Irani, co-founder Classic Legends Private Limited, and Chardul Verma, head of strategic marketing, Java. Well, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to our next category, it is Design of the Year. Remember, an integral part of the auto industry. That which first catches the eye of the consumer. This one celebrates the vision, the artistry, and the attention to detail. And this one is going to VinFast VF7. They've backed this one, smooth aerodynamics. And of course, a powerful sporty vibe is something that VinFast VF7 is shining through. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. The applause shouldn't stop. These are people who are contributing massively and significantly to the auto industry. All right, next we felicitate, in our next category is Iconic Car of the Year, ladies and gentlemen. And well, this one is going to none other than Tata Sierra. Packed in an iconic design, cutting-edge technology, and a spectacular performance. Remember, it has been loved by consumers, and the love affair continues with the iconic B-pillar and impressive performance of the car. All right, moving on to our next category, ladies and gentlemen. It is innovation in mobility. And who's bagging this one? Well, it's none other than Qualcomm who's bagging it up, this one. Let's give a huge round of applause for them. It takes a lot of brainstorming and sleepless nights, remember, to come up with new innovative ideas in mobility, and Qualcomm has been championing it. Well, next up, ladies and gentlemen, what do we have? Our next category is something that we have been talking about all through this evening. It's Electric Car of the Year. And who's backing this one? Well, it's Hyundai Creta Electric, a leader in paving way for new, greener technologies, a solution to some of the environmental problems that we all go through, a step in the right direction of ensuring progress in the auto industry. It is being led by eco-friendly growth, extremely important in the kind of times we live in. All right, next up, let's move on to our next category, ladies and gentlemen. We call it Bike of the Year. And who's been chosen in this one? Well, it's Hero Glamour X, with its modern design, enhanced performance, and smart rider-friendly features that make it the best in the market. Give it up for them. It's also called an intelligent motorcycle. Powerful engine, best mileage technology, and an irresistible price are some of the many reviews about it. All right, moving on, ladies and gentlemen, our next category, who's emerged as the disruptor of the year. Our next category is Disruptive EV of the Year, and this one goes to Mahindra XEV 9e. Give it up for them, ladies and gentlemen. A very futuristic design with a responsibility towards environment. A great deal, which has buyers queuing up to buy it. Take a look at it or just admire it for its sheer capacity and features. And we finally come to our last but not the least felicitation. It's the category of SUV of the Year. This one has been backed by Hyundai Venue. Give it up for them, ladies and gentlemen. A popular choice among SUV buyers. It combines modern design with a wide range of variants to suit different preferences and budgets. An affordable yet feature-packed SUV, remember, strong torque, smooth performance, and excellent fuel efficiency. This is what Hyundai Venue stands for. All right, thank you very much. Congratulations to all of you. Of course, this has been an extremely important conversation. I request all those who've been felicitated this evening to please come up on stage so we can have a group photograph. A great moment. And a moment of honor, of course, with Minister Nitin Gadkari, who's been very candid in his conversation today. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for all those who've been contributing significantly and massively in the automobile sector. Extremely important. This has been a memorable moment. This has been a memorable evening for all of them. Thank you, sir, for being with us this evening, sharing your insights, being extremely gracious with the kind of conversations we've had. Can we have another big round of applause for our chief guest this evening, Minister Nitin Gadkari? He's been extremely kind and gracious in his conversations, in his insights, and in the kind of questions that were asked. He's been extremely gracious to answer all of your doubts, to make sure that your doubts are clarified. A leader who has set an example with his work. The more I say, the less it is. Remember, it's been an extremely significant evening here, whether it was about electric vehicles, whether it was about road safety, or, of course, a number of other issues that have been discussed today. I request all of you to stay with us because we have another interesting session, a conversation that will take place in a short while from now. But, from all of us at the Zee family, we thank Minister Gadkari for being here. It's been extremely gracious. And, of course, we understand that you still have a lot of questions, a lot of thoughts that you want to share with Mr. Gadkari, who's been very, very kind and gracious with his presence today. And he's clarified our doubts, he's answered our questions, and also given us a deep insight into what government thinks, the government's point of view as far as EVs and a lot of other issues that are concerned that we grapple with every day, that are on the top of our mind. All right, thank you, Mr. Nitin Gadkari. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. A man who's been extremely gracious. I request all of you to stay seated as we have another session coming up in a short while from now. Remember, this is about road safety, something that the minister also talked about. We will, of course, start this in a short while from now. But remember, this entire evening has been extremely interesting, exciting, with a number of doubts that have been clarified, with a number of issues being touched upon as far as EVs, road mobility, and green mobility is concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, can I please request you to stay seated? We have another intriguing session coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, I request you to please be seated. We are going to be starting with another session. This is, of course, on road safety, of making our roads safe and our country safer. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving to our next session. Remember, it's a no-brainer that road safety is paramount. And with India recording the highest number of road accidents globally, our next session focuses on responsible mobility. We also talk about the role of technology in ensuring safety on our roads.
India is moving faster than ever. Smarter infrastructure, stricter enforcement, and real behavioral change are more essential than ever. With advanced in-car safety technology and public awareness, let's transform India's road safety ecosystem. Because safer driving starts with you. Here is our next session. Safe roads, safe India.
All right, let me invite the panelists for this session on stage. I invite Mr. Vikram Kasbekar, ED and CTO, as well as Acting CEO, Hero Motorcorp, to be on stage. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. With that, I also invite Mr. Jyoti Malhotra, MD, Volvo Car India. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be an interesting conversation. And I also invite Mr. Vikram Gulati, Country Head and Executive Vice President, Toyota Kirloskar Motor. Welcome, gentlemen. I request Dinesh Sharma to take this conversation forward.
A very good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming here at Zee Media Auto Summit 2025. As we all know that India is one of the top automotive market in the world, but India has its own challenges. Every day, 400 lives are lost on Indian roads. Now, this is not just a transport issue. This is a national imperative which is impacting citizens, brands, and also policymakers. So we have an exceptional panel here, and we will try to explore what are the ways to make not just Indian roads safe, but also the atmosphere where we can have a more responsible mobility. So let me just start with Mr. Vikram first. I want to start by asking Videsh, safe roads, safe India. Where do you think the real challenge lies? Is it with infrastructure, or is it with enforcement, or whether it's with driver behavior?
So let me start with that famous quote from Mr. Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Swarajya is my Janma Siddha Adhikar. But for our citizens here, flouting the norms is the Janma Siddha Adhikar. I think we need to change there, number one. However, I think what we need to address is the solution very comprehensively. The recent meeting which we had with Mr. Gadkari was also, we're trying to address things comprehensively on the 5 E's which he mentioned. So one is, of course, the engineering of the vehicles, the engineering of the roads, which has increased very well. But in the urban areas, the engineering of roads has to improve. The blind spots, especially potholes, so on and so forth. Then, of course, enforcement. And then the emergency. So we are also making emergency ambulances, which will launch very shortly as a proto, which will be able to reach the customers in the golden hour. And of course, education, which we are starting with the children at a young age. So at the young age, I think like the Japanese do, we want to build that culture of this thing. Plus many other initiatives which are taking for training, etc., which is going on. And of course, trying to look at defensive driving. Rather than me first follow the rules.
Mr. Jyoti, I want to pick your brain here. Volvo is synonymous to safety worldwide. So what according to you is those factors which has Volvo's leadership that can be localized for the Indian roads and for the Indian market as well? And just to add another thing here, I think if I'm not wrong, 3-point seatbelt was introduced by Volvo to the humankind. So probably you should also get a Nobel Prize for that.
No, thank you so much for, first of all, having me here. And you're right, I think when it comes to safety, more or less, Volvo is considered as a synonym for safety, right? But it is basically a mindset. And as we just heard, I think there are many facets to safety, whether it is road engineering or automotive engineering, education, or I think the behavior. And I think for our country, I think we have heard the minister just now. I think we have done a lot when it comes to road engineering. It's a lot of work is being done. Automotive, I think all companies are doing the best. And in my view, I think for India, the biggest challenge is about the mindset, right? The chalta hai attitude is a big issue. So I think you just spoke about the seat belt. Let me ask, I think your audience here, out of whenever you sit in a car, not in a driver's seat, but whenever you are sitting, do you wear a seat belt? How many people wear a seat belt? See, 10%, 15%, even if you're not driving, right? So I think automotive companies can do so much. Similarly, I think for two-wheelers, how many people actually wear a helmet all the times? We see people around. And many people are also wearing the seat belt or whatever just because there's an enforcement. So it's an interplay. So I think as a country, we need to change this mindset. We need to start, I think, as famously Gandhiji said, the change starts with me, right? Yeah. We need to be the change we want to see. So I think we need to first, we are all influencers. We are living in a world where people are called influencers now, right? We are all influencers for our own children, people around us, society around us. We should take lead in encouraging others to follow safety norms. Whether or not there is a camera, you should, I think, follow the speed limits which are being given. So I think this mindset is required. And I think education can play a big role. I think we just heard, like in Japan and other countries, from the very beginning, we need to inculcate this behavior or this mindset in the kids. They are the ones, and we are a young country. We need to bring this change. What we are seeing here is that we have seen such a fast progress that I think a rickshaw chawla has become an e-rickshaw, guy has become a taxi driver has upgraded to maybe a luxury taxi. So I think it's just evolved. And without getting into the basics of, safety. And it cannot, I think, we as a government, automotive companies, engineering can't do anything if we don't take that ownership. And I think it starts with us. So I think the biggest change that is required in our country, and I think when Mr. also spoke about it, is about how we bring this mindset change. And it's not an easy task. Probably it'll take a generation. But someday it has to start, and let us start from now. I think so. My request is, I think we saw 40% people raise their hand. For rest of the 60% people, I want all of you to take a pledge that whenever you sit in a car, please wear a seatbelt yourself. Please encourage people, anybody else sitting in the same car, whether you are sitting in a taxi or you are sitting in your own car, your family members, please ensure that you wear a seatbelt. If you can start from this small room, I think it can spread. So that's how we can start.
You were talking about the Japanese culture. My next question is to Mr. Gulati. Mr. Gulati, Toyota's global vision of zero traffic deaths is quite inspiring. So my question here is how Toyota India is adapting to this vision for the Indian roads.
Well, for us, safety goes into all aspects of our operations. So it not only is about the road safety, but also the mindset, like what was mentioned. So ensuring safety at workplace, not only in the floor shop, but also in terms of the office space. It's things like, having corridors where you are encouraged to follow basic rules of look right, look left, then cross. It's a corridor. One would say, why the hell would you want to do that? Why you want to do that is you want to at least in your set of influence, which is your employees, you want to encourage and enforce this mindset. Then the other thing, for instance, what we do is we make sure that each one of our employees is wearing a seat belt, very basic thing, even if it's a bus. And it's like monitored. And this goes so deep that our level, our suppliers, whether it's the level 1 or level 2, if there is a safety incident, it is scrutinized at TKM, it is analyzed, it is like, we call something as Yokatan. Yokatan basically means going to the root cause, finding a solution, making a case study, and spreading it. So this concept also goes in our activities towards road safety, where we are primarily focusing on children. We believe children are the champions who can bring change. They are not only the future, but they are also the maximum influencers in the community. So we have very impactful programs going on with schools around road safety. And one of them is particularly something that's close to my heart, which is the safety hackathon. Here we are targeting kids in schools and in giving them a problem related to road safety, asking them to understand the problem, find a solution. It could be a technological solution, it could be an awareness solution, and try and implement it. And we do it across many schools within a city and hold a competition. And we, to our surprise, we found so many people coming, so many kids actually coming up with very unique solutions that we got encouraged to now then link up these kids to engineering colleges as mentors. And then what we found as the next step was, very amazing kind of technological solutions to common problems that we face on road safety. These are being encouraged. So these are kind of things that we're doing, mainly focus around the mindset, the culture, because like has already been mentioned, from an engineering point of view, there is only so much you can do, and most of it has been done.
Mr. Vikram, if I'm not wrong, almost 70% of road accidents that happen in India are on two-wheelers. So what Hero MotoCorp is doing, how are you leveraging technology and social awareness to bring these road accidents lower and reduce these fatalities that are happening on the Indian roads right now?
Yes, you're absolutely right. Two-wheelers are more vulnerable because it's not self-balancing. And as I mentioned, first of all, like my colleagues here on the stage mentioned, on the behavior part of it. So we have what we call the safety training whenever a customer buys a vehicle. We talk about how they should ride safe. We have got safety parks in which we train the gig workers. There are 6 of them across India. We also train them for better learning skills. We also train women riders to sort of improve upon the riding ability. So these are softer issues that we are taking up. And there are multiple interventions that we have across, as I said, education of children, education of various people across. So this is a campaign which goes on with the local police, traffic and all that. So this is an ongoing exercise which we really need to inculcate and develop the people for safety. At the same time, as far as technology goes, there are multiple initiatives that are being taken. So there are about almost 20 technology interventions that we are evaluating. And we will start and create a roadmap for incorporating this for improving the vehicle safety. So in today's world, if ADAS is there, my driver switches it off. So we have to be very practical about seeing what this, how these accidents occur and provide the right solution. For example, one of the things is the silver box, which is what is coming in over the air updates, as we call it. The good part of it is we know the driving behavior and pattern of the vehicle which goes over the cloud. We can analyze it and do it. Now, analyzing the accidents is also important. So there are a lot of video cameras across. We can actually use the AI tool to analyze these videos and look at it, what is really the root cause of accident. Because most of the cops say the simplest thing for them is if he was overspeeding, which is not possible in a urban weather. Highways I can understand. So such kind of interventions are very, very important for us to go through. And as I said, anything that is required to bring about safety, that is our top priority as far as leading manufacturer of two-wheeler is concerned. And that's a corporate goal for us to bring down the accidents.
Mr. Jyoti, I want to pick your brain here. Volvo once visioned 0 fatalities in its cars. Considering that India has a lot of chaos on the Indian roads, how close are we to make this happen? And what are the challenges that you are facing right now?
Yeah, so I think the biggest challenge obviously is the mindset again, so I don't know, dwell into it anymore. But as a car maker, what we can do is things are in our control. I think we just heard about the accident research. We have been doing, we have I think a separate department who has been doing this accident research for close to 40 years. And they go to every accident site, analyze what happened, how it would have happened, how it could have been prevented, what was the impact of this, and so on and so forth. All that data is being collected for many, many years, and I think those inputs are then used to design a better car every time. Those research points become very, very important. So I think that's something which is very, very important because ultimately, because we are I think a legacy brand being around 98 years and we operate in so many countries, data is coming from almost everywhere and we are able to sort of convert that into some meaningful work. One important thing I can tell you as an outcome to I think two things. One is we have developed what is called as a initiative called EVA, Equal Vehicle for All. So what we realized, I think I'm sure everybody here has seen or heard about the crash test, right? We are talking about NCAP scores and all. In a crash, what happens? So I think in 90s, way back in 90s, we realized while we're doing this research that a typical dummy, which was used to analyze an accident or when the crash test was being done for a typical male dummy of a certain age and height, which means that only X% of people globally are sort of meeting that norm, and I think that's not safe enough for everyone. So how can we generate equal vehicle for all, whether it is for women or for any gender, age, or any ethnicity? So that data then went back into that, and I think that is now, and I think what we have done, like we did with the seat belt, that technology was made available to everyone. Similarly, this EVA initiative, we have put this whole data back to all other automakers as well for as an open source. So they can extract the data and I think use in their own designing. So that's a contribution, not just for our own company, but for the larger community, because we care for that. So that is one very, very important thing. The other output of that accident research over the years has been, and especially in four-wheelers, what happens is people talk about the golden hour, right? When an accident happens, you need to have someone reach and support you. But the first thing is to get people out of the car, right? When a crash happens, everything jams. Now, what sort of tools are required? What sort of cutting is required? And for that, you have to collaborate with the local authorities, because ultimately the local authority, the local fire people will come. So we have been working with our communities in different countries where we collaborate with them, educate them as to what has to be done. And this is sort of something which, as an output of that research, is what came in. So I think these are small little things which can bring in changes. They are going beyond just the automotive engineering itself, but I think taking it to the larger aspect of safety. And I think we take these things as very, very seriously, and I think we have been working on them. And as I said, we are a small brand, but we share this with others so that I think it can go. For example, the seatbelt you spoke about, in a way I can say very proudly, a little bit of Volvo is there in every car, because every 3-point seatbelt that you use came in from Volvo and was given to everyone without any patent, just because of larger safety. So those ethos is what we contribute.
Mr. Gulati, Toyota has been deeply involved in awareness programs, like you also mentioned. What, according to you, think, and how important is it on the grassroots level to make those drivers understand? And also, have you seen any positive impact in the drivers' behavior in India, especially?
Yeah, definitely. I think everybody, there's nothing more precious than your own life, right? The fact is that you tend to forget this very basic fact many a times when you're flouting rules. So reinforcing this aspect that, it's taking shortcuts is not only putting yourself in danger, but also the future of your family does have an impact. Showing cases where you think that you can get away with, breaking rules, how much risk you're taking in terms of putting yourself in danger versus what you're gaining. Those kind of things do matter. They do create a lot of impact. I think public awareness, school-based awareness is critical. But I would also say that enforcement is something that can go to the next level now. I personally believe with the technology that's now available, there is a case for considering citizen enforcement. When you see people flouting rules, you all have now technology where cameras are available. Can you take that? Can you load it onto on the cloud seamlessly for the enforcement agencies to act on it? This actually immediately multiplies the outreach and the impact and kind of finishes off the limitations of the number of cameras you can put. Practically everybody becomes an enforcer. Follow that up with implementation of the amended Motor Vehicle Act, which got amended in 2019, which has very stringent penalties now, and link it to the technology stack, where driving license is also linked to your unique identification. States getting involved in making sure that the licensing itself, that process, is made strict. I think if you put these pieces together, I think in short span of time, relatively short span of time, we can have a huge impact. And I think this has got to be done given the kind of losses we are seeing in terms of human lives being lost, the economic impact of it all, the social impact of it all. So I think those kind of things also need to be done besides just creating awareness. Thank you.
Mr. Vikram, being a market leader, do you think India and companies like Hero MotoCorp can become global leaders in affordable safety features? Let's say ABS, let's say smart helmets or safety technology. Do you think we have that potential? And if yes, then what are the things that are stopping us?
True, actually, the target that we have given to our R&D and development teams is, I told you we're working on 20-odd projects, and we have given them cost targets. So they should be affordable and yet be useful for the people. For example, if I put a helmet and connect it to the Bluetooth, then it should give an alarm, or blind spot detection, it should raise an alarm. So these are fundamental things which we're trying to do. Pothole detection, blind spot detection, all these factors are very, very important. So once we understand and analyze the real cause of accidents, we'll take about top 20 things which will give us about 80% results, not play blind.
So before we wind up, I have one question and I need answer from each one of you, starting with Mr. Jyoti. If you could make one policy change tomorrow that would drastically reduce road fatalities in India, what would it be?
I think we need, although I think recently this enforcement of I think the traffic rules has become very stringent, but I think we need to ensure that it becomes even more stringent, because I don't think while we educate, it will take 10 years, but I think we need to ensure that how we are able to enforce, whether we use technology. I think India is known to be the IT hub of the world. And I think we have seen since the time cameras were installed, people have become conscious, but then there are hacks available to sort of beat that, and I think only do this because you want to beat the enforcement. But I think one important thing is to make the enforcement even more stringent and goes across the board, whether it's an e-rickshaw driver or anybody who is violating that should be fined or their driving lessons cancelled. I think we have to make it. Till the time education happens, we need enforcement.
Mr. Gulati?
I think the foremost is enhancing the efficacy of the driving license regime.
Mr. Vikram?
I would say enforcement of automated driving centers. There are 100 odd in India. They undergo theory class, they have to pass it, and then you have to enter the test area and come out, either it's pass or fail. I think this should be enforced across the country. That will be the best solution. Thank you.
Well, on that note, I would like to say thank you very much indeed for joining us here. It's been a pleasure having you here. Ladies and gentlemen, please have a huge round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, for this intriguing conversation. I now request Mr. Priyadarshan Garg, Chief Business Officer, India.com Digital Private Limited, and Mr. Anuj Khare, Group Editor, India.com Digital Private Limited, Zee Digital, to please come up on stage and felicitate our guests. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a very informative conversation with our guests. It has been a learning experience as well, and they shared some deep insights of how the automotive industry is looking at this entire, concern of road safety, something that we're all concerned with. And here in India, of course, we are extremely concerned about the kind of incidents that we see, and it becomes all the more important for the auto industry to think, rethink, evaluate, reevaluate, and make sure there are tools and equipments that are, there in the automotive industry. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our panelists tonight. Thank you, sir. I request Mr. Garg and Mr. Khare to please remain with us on stage. We have a very special award to give away. This is a felicitation for Manufacturer of the Year four-wheeler. Let's take a look at this AV first. All right. And this one, of course, is going to Maruti Suzuki. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. The Manufacturer of the Year four-wheeler. May I request Mr. Nirmal to please come up on stage to receive this trophy. Remember, Maruti Suzuki has been making significant strides in the auto sector. Manufacturer of the Year four-wheeler is something that, just contributes and, of course, recognizes the contribution that Maruti Suzuki is making. Thank you, gentlemen. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we conclude this beautiful evening. We extend our heartfelt congratulations to all of those who've been felicitated today. Your achievements remind us that excellence is not an act, it is a persistent pursuit, it is a consistent pursuit. And, we thank Hero Motocorp, our partner. May this road be inspiring, innovative, and truly extraordinary. On behalf of all of us at the Zee family, thank you very much for being with us tonight. Have a wonderful evening, drive safe, and good night.